4v3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. We're gonna take black. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
A beast mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Safety gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh, 50's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga 4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
After months of competition between teams here in the EU Masters tier, of course, it has to come down to 2 to finally fight for the title of Season 14 champions, and both teams have fought hard. They have fought brutally to make their way here into the grand finals, and it's been one heck of a trek for both of these teams today, Spectron. One of them will have to meet their end, because while both seasons will end, we will only be able to crown one champion.
That's the nature of competition here. Shenzhen Strikers and Plate Group have both fought long and hard to make it to this grand finals. Of course, it was Shenzhen Snipers who came through the upper bracket. Plate Group forced to play an additional match to actually make it there. Take a gander at that schedule now, and Plate Group completed a 3-0 of 07. Just 6 days previous. And I'm going to say that game to me did not look particularly close. In fact, we can see here. This is a pretty distinct, I mean, lower bracket run, right? Like, no maps dropped at all, even though they got 3-0'd by Shenzhen Strikers in the past. You know, Shenzhen Strikers dropping up maps at 07. Maybe this final will be a little bit closer than in their previous matchup. That's a W3 match. But, of course, only time will tell.
Yeah, it's something we're going to have to really see here as well, because it's not like the meta has really shaped up or changed between those last couple of weeks. Obviously, with it being a smaller bracket and the fact that, obviously, the last couple of patches haven't really changed a whole lot of things. And obviously, yesterday is not an exception to the rule by any means. So, gonna have to see if you're gonna be able to learn in this situation if you are Play Group able to have this situation. But of course, we've got matches still working around. We got a lot of different tournaments that are finishing up here. So we do have Oops All Vibes versus Golden Hour happening. It's gonna be happening at Easter time. Do not be confused by the UK time. UK doesn't actually exist. There is no Queen of England. There is no.
That's
there's
true.
no. There's. this is correct.
It's been fact-checked by real Americans and Brits as well, actually. But yeah, as you mentioned, Oops All Vibes versus Golden Hour at 7:30 Eastern Time. Take a gander at some of our rosters now. Of course, first we're going to see at those who made it all the way through that winners bracket. Undefeated so far, the Shenzhen Strikers. Going to have Manic, Yo-Ho-Ho, Yo-Yo Cherio, Ikigai, and Toot coming through. Of course, they were very, very amusing on their team sheet. Toot says he's from some Eastern European country. All of them, bar one, say that their favorite hero is Roadhog, and their past accomplishments include playing in the Cold War and winning the 1987 Halo World Championships.
Yeah, I would have to run that all through a fact check, but to be honest, they said it, so it almost has to be true. I mean, you can't say anything about that, can you? I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, no complaints there, but obviously, we'll keep it going because their opponents accomplished in their own right as well. Play Group, you had Gangnam and then Byronworth over on the DPS. By Bullet Bear, of course, on the take, and then Coda and the best Jinx on support. And this is a team that came very close last season to winning it all Spectrum. They ended up being second place back in Season 13, so obviously they've been here before, but now obviously you want to try to take the trophy home this time because they don't want to pull off the Philadelphia Fusion cosplay. They don't want to come in second place twice in a row.
Yeah, for their sakes, I hope they don't. You know, take a look at that match against 07 in the previous. Obviously, that was a 3-0. Look to me, in the couple of maps that I watched, that the main weakness was Kota on that Brigitte. Was unfortunately going down early a little bit more than you'd like to see. Flip side of things, though, Bergenworth on that Reaper was absolutely going above and beyond. Some of those backhand hits were absolutely beautiful. So watch out for Bergenworth to have that kind of overperformance again, and for Kota, cleaning up some of those mistakes could be the edge needed to defeat Plate Group on that Malgamira. Of course, it's been a fresh patch, but going on to this next map of Samoa, then I've got to say, Hunter, we probably expect to see more of that Malga.
Yeah, I honestly that's a really likely scenario here. Yes, there is the ability to have things like the dive between like the Winston and the Diva. That is a possibility, but I think at the point we're at the stage we've gotten to, I think realize that Malga is still the main pick, and like I said, the patch from yesterday doesn't really change that fact a whole lot. So I think both teams are very much going to stick to it. I think the real variety is going to come down to that DPS line, because obviously we've had some characters that are starting to kind of rise up over the past couple of weeks, like Sojourn, who's come out more often, and in fact got a little bit of a buff as well with everything considered. So this character we could see more. Same thing with the Echo still being prevalent, the Genji still being prevalent, Reaper obviously as well. So again, I think the biggest portion of what's going to be important to these teams is what these DPS are going to be willing and not willing to play, because if you stick to one thing throughout and it clearly doesn't work, Patreon, we've seen teams stick with compositions that don't work and just keep trying over and over, hoping that it'll eventually budge.
Most of the time it doesn't, right? Of course, on this patch, as you mentioned, the DPS is going to matter a lot more. I feel like the options are much wider open right now, so as we've seen, plenty of teams really struggle to execute on this Reaper Echo, then we could maybe expect to see them move towards something more like a Tracer Sojourn, Tracer Ash, for example, as we've been seeing in the Soup Cup over in Korea. Obviously, they start out on something totally different just to screw with us. So, by the looks of things, double dive on the Ana break for Shenzhen Strikers, keeping the tempo instantly as high as possible. Play group playing something similar. They have to play a little bit more for the brawl rather than the cycles if Kota wants to actually play the tuner. But no, Dive Mirror, Genji versus the Echo. Echo is better at tank pressure. Genji is better at backline hits.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously going to see what both teams are going to want to do here, because, again, I mean, the only real differences between that Genji and the Echo, both teams are going to be able to play fast right now, is Yo-Yo Churio already creating some pressure, but Bergenworth is going to be the first one to find a pick here, getting rid of their Tracer counterpart to get things started away here in the Grand Finals. And double anti-nade on Dakota and Best Jinx is going to cause a little bit of an issue, but a nice sleep right there. All it's going to do is delay the inevitable, as it looked like it was going to start in the control of Plague here, but unfortunately, double supports fall over right now as you see the fight back coming through. And especially at this point, both teams fighting hard to stay in this, but eventually the tank is going to fall, and it looks like Shenzhen Strikers will start with the point first.
And for a decent idea about why that fight went the way it did, just look at the ult charge of the backlines, the Anas in particular. The Best Jinx uptime in that last fight was essentially 0, right? Permanently zoned out by Yo-Yo Churio, and that means the pick onto Yo-Ho-Ho was not nearly as impactful as it could have been. Reficing now, trying to take that space, but they've got to maybe slow play for a dupe if they want much of a chance in this fight.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case, as Bergenworth is going to go down first. So again, great advantage for Shenzhen Strikers in this situation right now. And if you're a play group, you just got to pull out. Like, you just have to call back, you have to reset. You can't go in for a dive scenario without your Tracer. Yeah,
time off the bank there. Tracer will be back in a time. I think we are really seeing Tracers struggle to get set up here. Maybe not used to playing as much with the Ana Brig, which should mean the Tracer is essentially never the first pick.
Yeah, pretty much never in that situation, but now we have ults coming around the corner for the first time going right now. Copy gonna be on that first and foremost, and Gangnam might not need it in this situation, though. We had the back and forth Bipolar Bear and Yo-Yo Churio, the tanks respectively, going to get 2 apiece right now, but it's all about survivability, and right now, fortunately, Bipolar Bear having that struggle to be able to stay alive, as Yo-Yo Churio had the ability to survive thanks to that Primal Rage, so that's gonna be another fight down the drain, and as things are right now, Shenzhen Strikers on a massive roll to start things out.
Yeah, I think a big thing we see there is Maniac on the Genji is just going to find more value than the Echo in these broken down fights with those dash resets with a little bit of self-survivability. And Yo-Yo Churio as well, having that Primal Rage was just a straw that broke the Camel's back. Nanocycles online here means that Playgroup probably still going to be on the back foot in what could be the final fight.
Yeah, I mean, 80% right now, you gotta think that's gonna be the case. And now, your biggest saving grace right now, if you're Yo-Cheerio, is the fact that you do have a Nano. You're likely to throw that on your Genji for the Blade, but they're gonna Dry Blade it instead right now.
No.
And that might be a bit of a problem, Spectron, because Maniac is gonna get deleted immediately upon really going in there. And now, you see the rundown coming through now. The copy not able to find any real success right now is getting them. They're gonna try to keep their team going. But Bergenworth and a Rub scenario right now. The rally going to be used just to get Jenny out of there. And they're gonna be successful right now, but the important thing is Spectron, they won't go down, but they have to stay on the point now. The fight has to be here, because the longer this goes on, the more difficult it's going to be to kind of maintain this point, because if you get off for even a couple of seconds, it would give over. But it looks like Play Group is going to be able to sustain and finally take a fight win.
Yeah, it goes through in the end there. Unfortunately, the decision to invest in Nano Boost later into the fight really comes back to bite the Shenzhen Strikers, who don't really find the kill pressure that they wanted. But that will buy them at least 99%. They have plenty of time to find this one flip. And of course, both teams being skint means that when Yo-Cheerio's Primal is online, it's going to be the only checkmark across the board. That's such a huge advantage for the Strikers, and a team as powerful as them will absolutely be able to leverage.
Yep, definitely gonna be the case right now as the points start beginning to slowly flip over. We see the jump back right now is, unfortunately, Sport Line has already been taken care of right now. We don't see the flip go back over right now, and that's gonna be a quick little reset now. Again, for Shenzhen Strikers. Play Group this time, getting some momentum on their side, but right now, the ultimates are working up right now, and Yo-Cheerio has the ability to be very aggressive this next fight.
Yeah, so here it's just the Echo being able to scale so much easier on this defense, right? Once you can find these easy three-player background hits, then the Echo is so strong. Those stickies just obliterate Ikigai. 50% left to go. Still plenty of time for the Strikers, but they've got to get a bit of a move on.
Yeah, definitely going to have to be the case right now. Looking at 2-fight territory as things are right now. And right now, Yo-Cheerio is going to start running down this back line. He's just waiting to get a sleep out or a bash of some kind right now. But to be honest, they get pictured right now, and they have to use the Primal just to stay alive. Play Group already has the momentum in their favor right now. Need to try to not lose anybody right now. As Bipolar Baron, 96% right now from the Primal Rage, is going to be able to have the opportunity to get it up online right now. And Play Group getting ult after off online, but they're getting killed one after another, and it's going to come to that Pulse Bomb to try to pull things back as Bipolar Bear gonna stick alive. Eventually, gonna clear things away right now. Shenzhen Strikers, as much as they try to flip this, it is not going to happen. And now, with only an out to your name, you got to try to win this last fight.
Still no backliners here, and remember, they are going to be back slow, this Ana break. Same could be said of Shenzhen Strikers, though, so it's probably going to come down to this final battle. Nano Boost here for Ikigai, yet to find an elimination. The duplicate of Gangnam, the same could not be said. Shenzhen Strikers now very much on the back foot.
Yeah, but the Nano's going to come through right now. Monkey going to be able to separate the backline right now. They're going to get ran through a bit right now. You're going to see that Nano come through the situation. Yo-Cheerio's got to come away with something here. It looks like they are finding some major success. Already going to be trading things out, but the backlines have been deleted by both sides. It's going to be all down to the damage and the tanks in this situation. But unfortunately, with Bergenworth going down right now, the copy has to come up message for Gangnam right now. He's going to go in immediately. Going to have to hit the recall right now. They're the last hope right now for this team to be able to stay alive here in this first round, but they're going to be knocked out of the copy. Not going to be able to go for a retouch in the first round. Gonna go to Shenzhen Strikers. Able to pull that out at the last moment.
A little bit greedy there to try and save through that duplicate. I feel like an Ana dupe into a nade could have given them the necessary uptime needed to maybe try and clean up that fight a little bit faster, but they're trading backlines, so evenly there. Just meant that the Genji, again, such a huge advantage over the Echo. Again, as well, the duplicate onto the Tracer, I don't feel is fully optimal. I feel like even a Winston dupe is going to be a little bit more consistent a lot of the time. And we got to see there just Gangnam really struggling to get involved with the Tracer. Being Palmatase, battling through the monkey bubble. Just couldn't get the value that maybe you're looking for from an ultimate of that caliber. Continuing this exact matchup, neither team finding the need to make changes. And even here, where we're much more likely to see maybe more spammy compositions, maybe more brawly compositions, then Shenzhen Strikers and Play Group both want to continue with this monkey.
Yeah, and I like the fact they both want to stick with it. They both seem to be proficient at it right now. Came down very close on that first round, but now we have to see the response from Play Group here, and I think a lot of that is going to come from Bergenworth and Gangnam finding more value in the slot right now. They managed to do a lot of back and forth, but we saw a situation for Maniac and Yo-Cheerio were able to shut down fights very quickly, and we might not see the same result as we're going to see Yo-Cheerio going to get taken down very quickly, but again, the impact that is happening in the backline, Gangnam going to be able to find two to keep things alive, and with a 3v3 on slate right now and the point opening up, fight's going to start going there a little bit right now, but with an anti-nade, it's going to be really tough for two to be able to survive in that situation. It looks like Play Group is looking at a position to be able to start with the point. Maybe.
The backline needs to live here or die on
Yeah.
cart really quite quickly. This is so awkward for them, but no, they're dying slowly and their cap goes over. This is kind of worst case scenario. Unless the new dive can find a very quick trade, not going to happen. So things already starting incredibly strongly for the Fate group, and a great, momentum booster that they needed after, just losing out that previous point. They are going to be loving life right now. They're ahead in every checkmark that matters, obviously ahead in point percentage, and the refight from Shenzhen Strikers is going to be abnormally slow. If you are the Shenzhen Strikers, you have to play purely for nade cycles here. You kind of lose the poke.
Yeah, that's kind of the struggle when you're in this kind of situation right now. So you're looking for a lot of these ultimates to start coming into play. But Gangnam, unfortunately, you do have to be alive to get ult charge and to use your ult. So again, a fight is just going to fall apart super quickly here. But for once, it's going to be in the favor of Shenzhen Strikers, who look like they might be able to take this one away. But again, it feels like the backline is dying essentially every single fight. And now it's going to come down to who's left here right now to try to clear things away. A pulse bomb going to be used. Yo-Yo Cheerio is going to get taken out. That could be worst case scenario. And with the deaths coming through, it's looking like yet another failed fight. We're that close to forcing the tick over.
Yeah, really that close, but literally the lead on the pulse bomb is all that really gets it over the line there. Bergenworth finding a huge amount of value on that Tracer, a player we highlighted in the pre-show, and already finding that impact here in the Grand Finals playgroup. Like I mentioned, incredibly flush Shenzhen Strikers, going to be close though, and another Blade, though we didn't see it on that previous point, could find value here now.
Yeah, very much could have sleep. Not exactly the best start you're hoping for, especially when, once again, Pulse, I'm going to almost get knocked away in that sense. Coda is going to be able to stay alive, going to commit the rally, just to be rather safe than sorry on play group. Now 80% and counting right now, looking for perhaps a couple of cleanup kills if possible. Maniac is going to be one of them, so 85%. Spectron is getting very desperate at this point.
You can touch relatively easily. You can get Yo-Yo Cherio's Primal Rage onto the objective and stall for a couple percentage points, but you're not going to be nearly as scaled for a dive as you really want to be here. The backline of Fate Group obviously going to be the ones under scrutiny, but it's so much easier for them than normal.
Yeah, Nano going to be used here, and we see the deletion again of the backline of Shenzhen Strikers right now. Bipolar Bear going to help clean things up. Everybody's got a final blow to the name at this point right now, as they just have to try to clean around Yo-Yo Cheerio and Yo-Ho-Ho right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to be that difficult of a job from here. The last second touch was attempted, didn't happen. We're going to go to round 3, and that, a little different for the first round. That was very back and forth. This is much more one-sided.
Yeah, so it's a great use of snowball mechanics there, in my opinion. Kind of a harder point to attack, I think, just because of how the kind of long sightlines work on that backline. Shenzhen Strikers are very much married to the dive style, so it's going to be only swaps onto, I guess you call it a brawly comp, right? The Doomfist plays for your soft cycles much more than the Monkey who goes for committal dives. You can just kind of play to harass, harangue, go in, go out with the Lucio Kiri. Play group, again, they're going to load everything into that first fight. I would imagine Shenzhen Strikers just try and kill the best drinks on cooldown. Play group are probably going to be looking for anyone they can catch, but once that cage fight is up, Yo-Yo Cheerio is getting solo ulted.
Yeah, it's going to be the case right now, and I like the fact they're going over to this mount, going very traditional in the sense, but, I mean, that's the worry about having a Doomfist. Doomfist can have a lot of value very majorly, but you have to find that value quickly at times right now. Find the separation, and right now, Bipolar Bear isn't going to have a whole lot to stop them from kind of just running down everybody who's hanging around this backline for Shenzhen Striker. So it's all about finding that value. And let me tell you, getting rid of Amalga seems to be a very great way to get value in that situation. So fight going to go over towards the Shenzhen Strikers at this time, even though you're going to lose out on the Kiriko. They should get back relatively quickly.
And I'd like to remind the viewers at home that the Malga healing comes purely off of, doing damage of its lifesteal after all. So if there's nobody to really farm damage off of, Malga's going to die very, very quickly. Bipolar Pair is going to have to adapt to that, even with the, obviously the Juno heals, then not going to last forever.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of situation right now, but everything into account going to the next fight right now. We see the all charges are already kind of working up right now. Maniac already sitting at 80% to that blade and counter right now as Bipolar Bear is again going to go down first, and again, that creates a awkward scenario where it's really hard to win the fight once you lose your Malka in that situation. And once again, Shenzhen Trigger is going to shut it down, and Spectron, I mean, a little tactical crouching at the end there. Maybe not a little bit, a lot of it.
Okay, don't die for it, man. No, we're going to be able to back up Ismanic. I would like to also remind the viewers at home that with the new Season 14 patch, the DPS passive back up to 25%, back up to lasting for 3 seconds. That is really quite going to affect sustain-based composition. So play group, full swap over to, I guess you call it a poke brawl hybrid. This is going to be a lot harder for Yo-Yo Cheerio to find value into.
Yeah, it very much could right now, but Jiro is still going to go in, at least creating separation, creating a lot of value just for the team to be able to do what they will right now. Maniac is going to be able to get rid of one right now, and that looks like that's going to be enough value. It'll find the 2K. It's going to be a good selection with a clean up there on the Gangnam, and now already going to be in last fight territory, and Play Group have 0 ultimates to show for it.
That was a crazy blade from Maniac. I've got to say, the deflect, the dash into the health pack, and then the one-shot onto the Genji. That was nuts mechanics. Shenzhen Strikers now got sightline control, double support ults, and an overclock. Play Group have, I mean, nothing but the hope that they can find victory here. Coming into last fight, not what you love to see.
Yeah, already going to go with both the ultimates right out the rip right now. You try to find something here right now because this is falling very quickly. And Yo-Ho literally jumps directly into the belly of the beast, and now it could fall all apart from here, but the beat's going to come online for 2 in this situation, keep the rest of the team alive right now. Play Group entering desperation mode, but Bergenworth is still giving all the value that they possibly can in this situation, but Coda, Gangnam, all that remains for this Play Group team right now, looking for the big punch that can end this game right here and now, try to give them that advantage right now, but stalling for a while. Gonna see if they can get everybody back, but now overtime is bleeding away, and there will not be a retouch, so first map going to go over to the side of Shenzhen Strikers, and again, it was a close start, but those last 2 maps, I mean, they just took over with some dominance there.
Gotta say, if I'm Yo-Ho, you know, coming in with the Stormtrooper overclock, looking like Matt Murray out there, I'd be getting a little bit uncomfortable, but it turns out double support also pretty good, also for the rest of this team. Get another look at this blade here from Maniac. I mean, this is just, I mean, look at that. That is kind of nuts. So one of the big factors there, obviously it was pretty back and forth there, Play Group being able to take map number 2 in what seemed like pretty dominant fashion, right? It was the Echo of Gangnam who was able to just kind of lock them down, spam them out in that choke. But when all is said and done, the Shenzhen Strikers are able to draw first blood and take some more 2-1 now. Map pick is, of course, going in the favor of Play Group. They've got the entire world to choose from. But where they go next really is anybody's guess.
Yeah, because, again, you get the choice of going to a map and mode of your choice, so there is an extensive amount of options here that you can go towards. You probably have a pool of, what, like, close to 20 maps that you kind of have at your disposal between a lot of modes as well. It depends if you maybe want to try to get something out of the ways, because, again, since this is potentially going to be a situation where you got to come through and try to make these adaptations quickly, I think you've learned at this point what Shenzhen Strikers are better at, what Play Group seems to be struggling more at. So you got to try to make a pick that kind of falls into that favor in this situation. I think there's a variety of options, but right now, if we're looking down at it, I don't know how confident I feel about this in this situation, because we saw them being very willing to play the Malga, but this is, I mean, Spectra going to Sarabasa, you would figure the Malga v Malga would be plan A here, realistically.
I think this isn't a bad option whatsoever. I think if you want to play the Malga Mirror, this is kind of going to force them into it, right? If you want to play a Doomfist here, a Winston here, then you're going to get frontline traded and your day's going to really suck, you know, with respect. So I think that here it's going to be much easier for you to play some description of ground tank, whether that be Orisa, whether that be Queen, whether that be Malga. I think this is a pretty strong choice for Play Group. But I think it's also going to be the canary in the coal mine, as it were, the weather vane that's going to really show us whether Play Group have what it takes to, you know, play against this Doomfist in these shorter sightlines. Because if this isn't a map that they can take, then I think going forward, Shenzhen Strikers may well have a very easy road to victory.
Yeah, because sometimes you have those moments when you get into a big series like this, where you come together and you realize, okay, we've tried something and it works really, really well. And suddenly you don't have a reason to change off of it. Until they give you a reason where they definitively shut you down, there's no reason to stop running with just work there. So there is honestly a real chance they do just come out here and try to run the Doomfist back into the Malga and see if it works, because these are going to be very fast-paced fights in these situations when you're here at Sarabasa, or more so on Flashpoint in general. But either way, it's a beautiful looking map. It's going to be some very intense fights, and right now it's looking like the story is about as we predicted. Bipolar Bear being over on the Orisa. I think between Malga and Orisa, I think this is realistically the better choice here. I think maybe the Orisa kind of gives more opportunity to shut down the Doomfist. Maybe.
I'm not sure. I think that if I was to change things, I would move Gangnam over to Teresa. I will probably still be playing the Juno Brig backline. Orisa, I do think is better, but only slightly. I think the ability to just instant win the cage is really nice, but in terms of your neutrals, yeah, I think the Orisa brings a little bit more. So we'll see if these are the adaptations that are going to be final or Play Group, or if Shenzhen Strikers are able to easily overcome this.
Yeah, definitely get to be the case right now. You want to be able to bounce back right now if you are play group. Going to see Yo-Yo Cheerio go in. Going to miss out on the punch, but is creating a lot of pressure on Dakota right now, who's kind of struggling right now to stay alive. Eventually, the pressure is going to come through, but we will have the support lineup trading coming through right now. The play group seems to be taking more of an advantage, and Yo-Yo Cheerio will eventually go down for the first time over on this Doomfist. First fight's going to go to the way of play group, and already seem to be finding the solutions.
Yeah, Ikigai giving up the ghost early just makes it so much harder for the rest of the strikers to stay online, right? You're going to take a lot of spam damage playing into this composition, and when you don't have that Kiriko to somewhat mitigate that, then your day is going to be, well, pretty poor, realistically speaking, right? We kind of see that already. Ikigai goes down, so does Toot, and the rest of the Shenzhen strikers kind of drop out. Speaking of dropping out, looks like they've lost a player, so it's going to be a little bit whilst we get everything back up and running. But so far, play group finding some of that success that we were hoping for.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping for. You want to kind of go out the gate and obviously take that first fight away and shut that down because, again, it's all about the momentum for this team. If they're able to come in and win back-to-back fights with this composition, there's nothing that would indicate that they're going to swap off, and there's no reason to swap off at that point. So I think already you're going to start seeing the consideration of what to do. I think maybe they try it one more time for this fight coming up here, and then that's when I think they have the talks of, okay, maybe we go back and full commit and go to a Winston dive. Maybe we commit back over to the Mauga and try to make something like that work. It's a conversation you have to have here, because if this first point results in back-to-back losses, you have to have that conversation. To not do so would just be essentially shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I think that's very fair to see. As previously mentioned, it is Yo-Yo Cheerio who we are waiting on, the tank of the Shenzhen Strikers, whose internet has decided to not play ball with them so far. And a tank who was able to... Okay, it looks like we're going to have Yo-Yo Cheerio back in very quickly, so not too much of Carter's yet. We can get back into the action momentarily, so you don't have to stare at our ugly mugs for too long. I'm going to say, though...
Well, you don't want to sit here and make a tier list while we're here for a while, huh?
Well, the
60-second tier list? I don't know. How about, I don't know. There's not a lot of things to make a tier list of right now. Only thing we have really going on now is calling all heroes this weekend, and there's not a lot of... I mean,
Queen's Gambit on top, Tier 2 Olympians second top, everybody else I don't care.
Actually, we do have soup. We do have soup going on right now, actually. But we'll, if we pause again, we'll talk about that then. But for now, we gotta focus on this next fight.
Yeah, let's see exactly what they can put together. It's going to be another neutral fight. Nobody really close to any sort of check mark. Shenzhen Strikers need to find a target and quick. I imagine they will struggle with some of these slower fights.
I mean, 100% in that situation, but things are going to get going a little bit right now. Shenzhen Strikers taking their time because they realize this fight's going to be extended almost no matter what here, but getting rid of Best Things is a great way to get things started right now. The boop onto Bipolar Bear is going to force them to an awkward position right now, but it's still very much back and forth right now, as both boosters going to meet their end right now, but eventually Manek is going to be able to help the rest of the kind of move through right now, and eventually we're going to see them all fall down with a very crisp 73% there in that situation. So a good response there for Strikers. Now they got that Blade online to match.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of that Baptiste is essentially a free fight win, right? I mean, barring another disconnect, there's basically no way to troll that. So now Shenzhen Strikers in command with some ults to use now, too. Now, this is going to make their comp so much stronger compared to play groups.
Yeah, it's a situation right now where they simply wanted to come around the corner here and use this Deadeye and force everything into a position they could, but they're going to go with the Blade instead. The Deadeye's going to try to match with it right now. They're waiting to pull the trigger right now. It's going to come down, going to get punched out of it. Bergerworth's going to find absolutely nothing out of that situation, and now see a couple of slow rolling deaths here. Yo-Ho-Ho got a 3K to finish things out, and now 60% plus right now. Play group got to try to find the touch here.
Yeah, and it's going to be really tricky, right? They have some form of speed with the Lucio, with the Genji, but it's not nearly as mobile as a Doomfist composition. Again, it's using this Blade and this Meteor Strike to combine. We saw it already on Volcano. They're doing it again here. Clearly something that they've cooked up, and it's right now 100% success rate.
Yeah, seems to be the case right now. So they're going to go in, considering Rush. Pulse Bomb's going to go out. It is going to get rid of the Immortality field, but the Beast's still going to come online at the end of the day. Going to keep everybody alive except for Best Shakes right now. It looks like that's going to be enough to kind of pull things back in their favor. And now, with it flipping over 75% and counting, a retouch here it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, the beat there, finding the real difference maker. I think if Toot had the extra 5% on his, then we'd be looking at a different story. But Kota, just giving the survivability needed, extends the fight for long enough for Yo-Yo Cheerio and Ko to go down. They can touch, but what more can they do?
Yeah, well, they're all 5 of them are here. Actually, this is a very fair fight if you're not considering Elephant. Speed's going to come online right now. It's going to come down faster thanks to those changes from yesterday right now, but got to see if it's going to be enough right now as they're clearing things away. Gangnam is managing to get rid of one, but you need more than that to take away this fight. And now, going to see the cleanup go back over to the side of Shenzhen Strikers. They are going to take away this first point. Play Group fighting back very strongly. It has to be noted here, but Shenzhen Strikers were able to survive thanks to the beat, and will take over that fight.
Yeah, Beat's still a pretty powerful ultimate, and of course, with Lucio being, moderately buffed, a little bit more survivable now, then word on the street is we're going to be seeing some more of our favorite DJ. Moving on to our next point, this is probably going to be the strongest one for Plate Group. The only thing that makes it hard for them is not starting on the objective, but Shenzhen Strikers are going to somewhat struggle to harass their walk-up.
Yeah, they will have some ability in the world right now. They have the punch, especially if they go to the outside. You never know. You can find that value. You can already see right now, Yo-Ho-Ho is going to create a lot of chaos on the side. The spear going to be used right now, but Yo-Ho-Ho... Cheerio's going to have a way to get out right now, but gets stunned. Nearly doesn't make it back into the vault right now, but they're going to take the sweet time, get all that sweet, sweet overhealth right now. So they're going to get pushed around, bullied around right now. Eventually going to see if they can spear away right now, but here comes that blade coming to the back line. We're going to see the Deadeye going to be used as well right now. The deflect is ready. Going to see if it's going to find its value. It will find one, but unfortunately, it's just going to be a big old reset. The bright side is that point did take a long time to cap over, so Strikers only have about 20% online.
Yeah, Yo-Yo Cherio there, able to find so much value on that Doomfist, right? I mean, the amount of disruption was huge. Obviously, they have to care the boop somewhat to Play Group, but the rotate being so slow just meant that Shenzhen Strikers could easily crossfire onto them, really just make their life hell. Oh, not the way that Shenzhen Strikers wanted to start this fight off, though.
Yeah, not quite what you're hoping for in that situation. It's going to force Lucio into a very weird situation, but it kind of wants to try to pull this out. Pulse Bomb directly onto the pillar. It's devastating, ladies and gentlemen, but the fight's still very much online. This Coda is going to find the beat here right now. Got to keep the team alive for a little while longer, but the numbers game is still trying to play a factor right now as Cheerio, again, trying to find value on the Doomfist. Eventually, it's going to fall over 76% on the board right now. We're going to see the reset, and Strikers, unfortunately, end up investing 3 ultimates in that one fight.
Yeah, not what they love to see. Obviously, starting out with the pick onto Manic, really not the ideal start. And now, at least they have this Meteor Strike. It's, found some success for them so far. Comboed with the Blade. We'll see what Yo-Yo Cherry can do with it. This time, again, totally dry.
Yep, definitely see right now. Going to see that Ant Matrix going to be used. It's going to buy, essentially it's going to buy space here. No one's going to die as a result of it right now. But Bipolar might die as a result of going a little too far up right now. Is going to have that Terror Surge online though around the corner right now. Immortality going to keep Bestings alive for all of a second in that situation. Going to see a big punch. Going to see if he can get rid of Coda right now. Super low. And now things can be falling apart once again. Shenzhen Strikers cleaning things around right now. Still very much back and forth right now. And this fight is going to mean absolutely everything as the Blade's going to come through right now. Gangnam is found right now. And they are going to not find the pick in Yo-Ho-Ho. It all comes down to the 1v1. And it looks like they will eventually take back over by the skin of their teeth.
Puts together the 1v2 clutch there. Both the DPS members of Plate Group incredibly low. Just allows the Tracer to close them down. They're just typing each other, man. You love to see it.
Yeah, and now the beat comes online, and a little almost like a celebration beat right there, because you didn't really need it in that situation, but either way, secures to the point. You go over to map point here. You're going to be, relatively down the ult advantage, so I would assume they're hoping for a slightly prolonged fight here coming up.
Yeah, obviously no 0 damage taken during the duration of that beat. Play Group again able to take it to 99-99, but no further. Every single edge case is going in favor of the Strikers, and Strikers flirting with the idea of a mid-rotate fight right now.
Yeah, they're a little separated right now. The Kenchi and the Lucio on the other side of things right now, so they got to try to meet back up, and it might result right now as the Sip comes through right now. Going to try to roll back in. Immortality Field is going to keep them alive momentarily once again. As we'll see the Blade be popped along with the Terror Surge. Unfortunately, Bipolar Bear going to find absolutely nothing with that Terror Surge in that situation, finding a bit of value in the fact that you drop a couple of members, but unfortunately, you're not winning the 3v1 in this situation, so Shenzhen Strikers, again, gonna be able to put this on their backs, take this away, and now ult advantage is evened back up.
I really do think Play Group have been shot in the foot more than a couple of times by Defender's advantage, right? Especially when you're playing this Orisa cast BAP, then the ability to spam people out as they walk towards you is a huge amount of your value. We're not seeing them able to get there, though. Instead, they're the ones being harassed out on rotates, and even though they're getting plenty of damage in, no eliminations.
Yeah, none, and Yochirio gonna get a big slam over onto Bestings right now. We see the Deadeye coming alive right now, but Perkinworth is gonna get deflected by Manic in that situation right now. Jack going wild, unfortunate in that situation, and now Yo-Yo Cheerio going to double down on living right now. Unfortunately, going to be one right now, and Gangnam is not going to get out alive. This is becoming a very messy situation. Just one more fight for Play Group.
Yeah, it's getting really, really hard for them. I mean, it was such a strong start for Play Group member. But, okay, that's an awkward dead there. That could give an opening for Play Group to begin to prize them at, though. There's a chance. There's a window.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. It's there with Mana going down. The window has now opened wide open. The window has become essentially a double door at this rate, since the point's going to go over. But, importantly, it's at 99%, so now Play Group need to win back-to-back fights.
Yeah, got to complete the full comeback, the full reverse sweep here on Suravasa. But thankfully, they at least have that lifeline, right? Play Group ults aren't too bad. DPS ults and a window. Shenzhen Strikers don't have the same to boast about, so Play Group probably want to early spam, play point angles, and punish once they try and move on to the objective.
Yep, gonna see the case right now. Best Jinx is gonna have that Matrix online right now, but Yo-Ho could end it all if they manage to hit a good pulse bomb here, and it's exactly where you want it to be. But again, Immortality Field, second time in a row, is going to keep it alive right now, but Bergenworth has already found some value in this fight. Gonna get rid of Manic right now, who, most importantly, is not gonna build up as the beat's gonna be invested. In fact, they want to try to win this fight right here and now, and try to end this right now. It's gonna be a nice stun to take Bergenworth right now out of that Deadeye, but it's a rough situation right now as Yo-Ho Cheerio will get rid of Best Jinx right now as Yo-Ho-Ho in the background, trying to stay with Cheerio in the situation right now, and it looks like it is eventually paying some dividends right now, but we have them be coming up online, Coda, be able to keep the 3 last remaining members alive right now. As you see, Manic trying to come back, trying to get this blade online. If they get it, it could very well be game and set in the situation, and it's looking like it's super close. It's online, but the blades are being exchanged right now. Manic has found right now, getting them, trying to clear things around a little bit. The blade coming on their own right, but now it's going to come down to the battle of the Genjis in this situation. The big deflect coming alive. Manic get taken down, and getting them is going to eventually help clear out, and it looks like Shenzhen Strikers are finally going to be stopped, and Play Group will take one of the points.
It's an absolute slog for them. I was getting really worried there, actually, because Gangnam held on to that blade for so long, right? I mean, there were more than a couple opportunities where it could have been pulled, but thankfully, that final 2-3K is enough to get Play Group there first. Maybe their foot in the doorway, and I'm going to say this next point as well isn't too bad for them. Maybe with some momentum on their side, it will be enough to get truly back into Suravasa.
Yeah, gonna be the case. This first fight gonna be very important because ult economies have taken a very big reset, especially for Play Group in the situation. So this first fight is gonna be very difficult for them to win. But if they can run away with this fight right now, they're gonna have realistically a great economy set up for the rest of this game right here. So you're hoping for it right now if you're a fan of Play Group right now, but already gonna see the pressure pulse bomb in a very dangerous spot. That might have been the biggest one I've seen in a while if it weren't for another Immortality Field. Best Jinx doing so much to be able to shut down that pulse bomb every single time. I think the last 3 or 4 pulse bombs have been negated specifically because of Best Jinx.
Yeah, I think there was also a roll to Bergenworth with the last one at least, but that pulse bomb could have been like a 3K if the lamp's not there, not being broken. You're gonna be heartbroken, but a first fight win, one that has eluded them for a little while now. Play Group in prime position. Remember, they've got the sightlines that they've been searching for so long.
Yeah, gonna have to see the case right now. So we're gonna get pushed back at Matrix. Has been used in the situation, and all this is right now is just getting them space, getting them to work with. As Yo-Yo Cheerio thinks they can find more value over here as the Kitsune Rush going to bring them in right now. Going to create a lot of pressure. Immortality Field use. Cheerio barely going to escape with their lives right now. The point is slowly trying to flip over with that depth coming through on Bipolar Bear and Coda. It's definitely going to fall over right now, but you do need to eventually go back and touch this point and get it over right now because it's a little important right now, but 63%, they come back with the fight, and now that beat is back online.
Very far back window there from the Best Jinx of the side of Play Group. Unfortunately, it was very easily kiteable, right? We just see the Winston comp just W key behind the wall. There's nothing really that Play Group can do. And when they get repressured with the Casino Rush, again, they fall over. Aggressive rally fight here might be the port of call for Play Group. Kota really, I don't think, wants to use this defensively.
Yeah. I think that's honestly a big possibility on their part right now, but they're going to go in aggro with the beat and the blade right now. They want to try to end this right now, and it's trusting through. Manic has gotten 1, got 2, has gotten 3. It's going to clean things around right now. That's going to be a team wipe. And Shenzhen Strikers just 1 map away from putting themselves on match point.
The rally's late from Kota. If there's no cast time there, then you get the bash onto the Genji. You can find the elimination. But wanting to greed it for some reason means that Play Group now are back in their spawn and having to touch the objective.
Yeah, it's going to be a question whether or not they can go and get a clean touch here right now because you see all the pressure. Already going to have a bit of a trade out as the touches are going to come through right now. Yo-Yo Cheerio not the way she want to be. It's pretty much just going to knock them around, but at this point, I would just get rid of Burgerworth and head immediately back, and now they're going to get back, but going to see if the impact is still there. Coda getting super low. Best Jinx doing everything in their power right now, as they're going to come back over on the Juno with that speed. Try to see if you can get Burgerworth fast with that as well right now, but it's going to come down to this fight. This could be the ultimate decision of who's going to take this map away right now, and Cheerio ends up going down in the situation, but the point flips back over. It's Spectron at this point. It's so messy, but Bipolar Bear is willing to invest in this situation, and the cleanup comes through, and now Spectron is going to come down to a 5th and final point.
Yeah, big mistake there from the Strikers to give over the objective. I mean, now it means that, as you mentioned, the flashpoint goes over in the favor of Playgroup. We're tied up 2-2 here, and in a fight that Shenzhen Strikers could have closed out the map on, gone up 2-0 in this series. Now, it's all going to be decided by Paris, coin flipping for the map.
Ooh, gonna get booped away, but is it gonna stop the Blade from finding value? It definitely will not, unfortunately. It's gonna be the cleanup right now. Gangnam is able to kind of force around the supports in the way pretty much the rest of the team wanted them to go, and unfortunately, that's gonna be an instant shutdown in Playgroup. Now with a great opportunity here, because retouch, not very likely.
And especially now Yo-Yo Cherio is firmly on this Winston, right? Re-clearing higher ground. You know, at any point shifting this Orisa is going to be a huge pain. Yes, you're better at pressuring this backline, but in exchange, I'm worried that the lack of frontline pressure might be too much to bear.
You know what? It might be in this situation. I think there's a very real chance, as obviously kind of have the dual ults working right now, but I mean, Manic is just going crazy out there. Manic needs to change their name to Maniac as they're going to clear things away, and again, to be a good fight win from there, Continue Rush is going to be used in the 5v2 Spectron. I will say, I don't think that was a necessary investment there.
Absolutely not. No, Manic starts the fight with a double kill. You really don't need the Kitsune. Yes, it helps you get the flip faster, but you'd really rather have it in this upcoming battle, for example, where the best Jinx is walking in with an orbital ray. What's your mirror to that? They've got to nade it. Ikigai has to come up bananas huge here. And we'll have to wait and see if they do.
Yeah, definitely gonna see right now. Gonna be back on the Malga right now. Has done enough the funny, silly monkey games over here right now. Yo-Yo Cheerio still hanging around. Pulse Bomb is gonna find no value, but Yo-Yo Cheerio is going to go down in this situation. It's all falling apart from there. Another fight gonna be taken over here in Playgroup. Not willing to give this one up. It is entirely back and forth these last couple of points.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sloppy one there for Shenzhen Strikers, not really recognizing they were playing into a Malga, I guess. I don't think there's any other way to explain Yo-Yo Cheerio going in that deep with no support. Into this next fight, they've got still most of their ultimates, still 3 check marks, and a great nade as well.
Yeah, it's going to catch on a couple numbers. Coda especially, and now the trade-out has come through. This fight means literally everything right now. You need to take this away, but now it's Playgroup putting things around. We're going to see if you can find anything right now. Going in deep, Manic is going to find one. Is eventually going to find the second right now. Needs to try to find a third. It's going to swipe away at a Juno, who's desperately trying to live right now. Deflect is not going to serve to be enough, so the rest of the team needs to come in huge here right now. Yo-Ho-Ho has come back over on the Soldier right now, and Cheerio is going to be on to match this situation shortly right now, but it's all about getting rid of this Malga, taking them down. The Cardiac Overdrive is online right now, going to keep them alive, but a costly nade is going to hit them on. It's going to force them back here, take a reset. It's Spectron. They're still fighting with everything they have to take this over, but it looks like we should see a quick little reset here.
No, they're going back in. They're going to keep fighting. The Primal Rage allows Yo-Yo Cheerio to go aggro, and these constant nades onto Bipolar Bear are keeping them still even.
Yeah, Blade's online. This could be the Blade that ends it all right here. Gangnam has gotten rid of one. They barely step back onto the point. It's just trying to find something, but Cheerio will be taken down. The rest of the team gets deleted, and we will have ourselves a tie game. Playgroup were this close to being 3-0'd on this map earlier, and instead pull it back all the way, and they will take back Servasa. That is an insane comeback.
That was fantastic from them. I mean, having to step up to that level, I mean, really just speaks to the mentality of Playgroup more than anything else. Here's that, bash we spoke about earlier, connects, but everyone's already looking a little bit split. Manic, with so many huge multi-kills on that Genji, already playing out of his mind, but unfortunately, just not enough to get it over the line there. And I think as well, the swap over to the Monkey, as I said, wasn't probably ideal. I think it was very quiet from Yo-Yo Cheerio once we saw the end of the Pugilist and the start of the Scientist. And so now, 1-1, we have an idea and what both teams are going to try and pick into going forward in this series. Obviously, a bit more of a gap on these dive maps for the Strikers, but on these ground-based compositions, though it is close, Playgroup have the ability to eke things out.
Yeah, it seems to be very clear what the advantage of both of these teams are in this situation to try to make things happen. So I'm excited what they want to kind of do from here on out, because obviously we'll have the third map coming up. But before anything's Patreon, we're going to cut it to a little break here. It's been very intense for both these teams. You got to think out the strategies, because who knows how this series will go down. But stick around, because it is currently a tie game here. Grand finals. We'll be right back after this break. already been a back and forth affair to get things started here today for us. It's been a back and forth battle with the 1-1 situation more specifically because we have seen teams both dominate and both fall apart here. And it's going to be a battle to see which of these teams can bounce back properly and bring it their way. If you are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we have currently a tied up game 1-1 here in the grand finals. This battle between Shenzhen Strikers and Playgroup and Spectron. Like I said, we have seen both teams have fantastic moments at times where they've kind of fallen apart a little bit. And right now, it is all about responding with this third map because if this goes 5 maps, this is the map to decide who gets that final pick on map 5.
But Hunter Tane, you forget this is a first of 4, a best of 7.
I'm looking at my brain was confused looking at the fact that I'm not gonna throw my production under the bus or anything, but I see the little first 3 icon, and my brain's like, that's exactly what it is. But I mean, it's still important though. It's still important because it will dictate future choices. I'm not wrong there.
Yeah. Okay, it's fixed. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at the map then, so we can see what's coming up next. Each for answer. One thing I do think is interesting here, actually, is that what it means is that the other 2 maps going to be Hybrid and Escort, right?
Yeah.
Are going to be the pick of... well, firstly, they're left late. Shenzhen Strikers take out the easiest map to counter them on. They get their best map on. And so, going to any sort of Hybrid is going to kind of suck if they want to play Doom. King's Row first, even, is going to be the least worst for it, but you can still take that high ground crossfire down onto the ground tanks. And with Escort as well, you could go for maybe a... I forget the name. Monastery. Shambali Monastery.
Yeah, that's...
Shambali Monastery to kind of force that frontline trade. But, compared to the maps, which are still going to be open there as well, for example, like a Dorado, or I don't think Numbani's not in the pool, but Numbani, for example, to kind of illustrate my point, right? These are so viable for these dive comps, where we have seen a bit of a skill gap open up between these strikers and the Playgroup. So I think this is a pretty judicious pick, and I'd love to see how it's going to work out for them going forward.
Yeah, I'm really curious about it, because, again, I think it's that map where... I don't know. It makes me very curious because I think you can run, almost whatever you want here, honestly. I think Esperanza can be that kind of map in the situation. But either way, as you said, it's all about what they want to try to run here in this situation. And while there's a lot of variety, I think it's going to come back either down to the Malga or back down to that Winston style pick, because dive can be very effective here. There's a lot of great high grounds to work around, especially you kind of get to these points where you work around the initial checkpoints for both these teams. That high ground can be super effective to work with, and honestly can be super effective because you can stay out of the fight. You can stay very protected, and that way it's easier to set up your dives in that retrospect. So it's going to be about the response of both these teams that are setting up for this third map of Esperanza. Gonna see if both teams are gonna be able to come up with something here, and especially if we're gonna be able to see a response from Shenzhen Strikers.
We shall have to wait and see. Thinking about it now, I think first fight is going to be probably the most important one for Playgroup to win. Normally on a map like Push in general, it's going to be winning consecutive fights. Well, that's still huge. I think with the kind of advantage that, in theory, I think you'd have with this Orisa, if you want a frontline trade, then okay, no, they want to go back onto the Winston by the looks of things. Of course, still early days. Obviously, Shenzhen Strikers, there's no surprises from them. Yo-ho-ho on this Sojourn is going to play similarly to how you did, I guess, launch OWL Season 6, where you just sit on the bridge, spam down, pretty standard hit scan positioning. Maybe a little bit more aggro if you want to set your backline up there, but this is something we've been seeing before. Playgroup, no, they are going to go for the Daimyo, so it's just going to be the Genji versus the Tracer. I would think the Tracer's a little bit stronger here, but Maniac has been absolutely nuts on this Genji so far, so no surprises that he wants to stick with it.
Yep, 100% in the situation, so I like it. I like that we're going with this right now, but either way, I like seeing the Sojourn matchup here, Bergenworth and Yoho going at it. That is a massive 3k nade that results in somehow nobody dying instantly, but that's going to be a big jump in the backline. It's going to cause a separation of 2, but unfortunately, Bipolar Bear is kind of alone in that situation. Doesn't have anyone to really follow up in that situation whose name isn't Gangnam. Unfortunately, it's really hard to walk through 3 people. So for Spectron in this case, points going to go up. Shenzhen Strikers should be able to take some advantage here.
Yeah, it looks like it. Great start for the Strikers. The bubble will allow them to survive at least. Oh no, it's so disrespectful. Phoenix just going in to kill the backhand anyway. You trade for it. Oh, you traded maybe a bit too many here. They'll be able to get some push, but the refight from Playgroup, if it comes through, could be bold. Look how no one really knows how to position, right? There's no backliners around for anybody, so both teams just seem uncertain, kind of flirting with the idea of a commit or a back, and, you know, going for a halfway house in between the two.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to see right now. It's already 21 meters right now. Not a whole lot right now, but a fight win here would definitely secure them a lot more. Right now, they're being very patient. They realize they are kind of fine with Playgroup kind of working out and forcing them out further. That way, makes their dive a little easier. So Nate's going to come out. It's going to catch right onto Toot and Yo-Ho-Ho here in this situation. But everyone getting low. Nobody down quite yet. But eventually, Ikagi will be the first one to go down right now. As Playgroup going to start taking back some advantage. But Bipolar Bear needs to make sure to stay alive. Unfortunately, Spectrion not going to be able to do so. And that fight pretty much... I mean, in a sense, kind of gets extinguished right now. There's still a little bit of push right now, but at the end of the day, the pulse bomb what a pulse! Oh my god!
That's filthy. And the nade as well. Nano Boost, they are throwing everything into cleaning this up, and Gangnam will be able to find a 3-piece. Oh, wow.
gosh.
I mean, that pulse bomb, though, to start things out was just electric. Shenzhen Strikers, their lead is going to be eclipsed pretty quick now. And remember, all this is due to the overextension of Yo-Yo Cherio and Manic. You know, a fight and a half ago, they're going to be kicking themselves for that mistake, because Playgroup now have the defensive sight lines coming up on ult advantage very, very quickly. I mean, it's got to be the nano boost of Ikigai that ekes out some sort of lead for the Strikers, because behind that, they got nothing.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of it right now, but this fight is becoming a very important win to win. We're at 45 meters. Very close to trying to find something here, but Manic is going to manage to find one with this blade. Make it two. Why not? Probably going to make it a third here with a cleanup now. Going to go back their way right now. So, again, a big cleanup right now. Genji's going absolutely bonkers. But now this fight's very important because that Nano probably not going to go to Manic anymore. It's definitely going to go to Cheerio.
Yeah, at this point, right, I mean, Manic has been throwing in these crazy blades. Drive, for the most part. I think they've gone for a single Nano Blade as memory serves, so they could go for Cheerio. They could even go for a Nano Overclock, which is now one shot to the head as memory serves. Remember, Sojin got those recent buffs. See what they go for, though, as they pop the OC early.
Yeah, gonna have to see right now. Trying to find at least one pick. Unfortunately, not really what you want to happen when you use an ult like that. Is it's gonna start getting pushed the other way. And hey, right side here right now, while they win the fight right now, Playgroup literally just got on the point and said, nah, I don't feel like giving this away for free.
Dude, that's such a crazy play from Manic, right? Someone who's been playing, like we mentioned, out of their mind so far. And a deflect headshot onto the ulting Sojin. Oh, you don't see those every day, but it just tickles your pink. Shenzhen Strikers win the fight with only a nano boost, and now get closer and closer to trying to get the forward spawns. That's the stakes, which this fight is going to be battled over.
Yeah, gonna have to see right now. As you see, Bipolar Bear is investing very early in the situation. Want to make sure to stay alive, have some prevalence here. As Yo-Ho-Ho is in a rough situation, just doesn't have support with them right now. Ikagi and Toot already struggling with their own battle, struggling to just stay alive in the first place. Unfortunately, that struggle is not going to result in them actually living through that situation. So now, I mean, Spectrum both teams very back and forth, but it's rare that we get this deep into a push point, and no one's checking the checkpoint yet.
It's not unheard of, but very quickly it's going to change, right? Playgroup, nothing to stop them from getting forward spawns, getting their butt scratched online. Shenzhen Strikers, not going to love it, but they know for a fact that they can take it away with their next push, which in theory should be their strongest. The issue is going to be that the Nano Booster Best Jinx is on the horizon. If that comes online, I don't think there's much they can do to respond.
Yeah, that's kind of the unfortunate part as we kind of go into this right now, is they have to try to find something to come with right now, because you don't have the nano for engagement. You don't have a blade for engagement. A lot of your engagement tools aren't there right now, so you need to go in right now, hoping you can find something if you're Yo-Yo Cheerio. So they're going with a Primal Rage, going to force around Coda and Jinx. Unfortunately, Minik is going to be the first one to go down. You find some value here. Best Jinx to be thrown around. I mean, this is excellent. I mean, I haven't seen that juggling that good in so long, but it hasn't won the fight quite yet, as the Pulse Bomb is not going to sit by Gangnam right now, as Bipolar Bear will eventually fall. It looks like all that juggling is eventually going to pay in dividends, but unfortunately, Playgroup are realistically all going to get the good spawn here.
That is such a good fight for Shenzhen Strikers to be able to take, right? You get the backline ults out, you only invest your Primal Rage. Now you're going into next fight with 3 ults, 4 if you slow play. Obviously, you have to play another fight for the forward spawns, and that's going to suck. But in terms of how they set this up, this is picture-perfect stuff from Shenzhen Strikers.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important fight here, as right now, trying to set up and get things going away. See if you can get up to a nano eventually if you're Ikagi, but with a pick like that and a Gangnam and a 3K nade, it's gonna. I mean, at this point, you're gonna try for a retouch, you're gonna try to force it, but they're not gonna make it in time. So Advantage still in the favor of Plaker right now, but this one very important. And now the Nano Blade is going to be thrown around. Going to go in deep, and now Manic is going to go crazy here. He's gone rid of 2. Going to slice and dice around. It's not going to find anything, and now 3K going to go their way. Advantage going to follow suit, and I mean, what a showing for this entire series. Not for just Shenzhen Strikers, but specifically for Manic.
I feel like Playgroup, just nothing is letting up for them, right? Ikigai takes care of the Winston first, I believe, was the Tracer. Then it's like a 3-man nade that connects onto so many people. And then it's an elevate from Manic, who obviously gets the 3-piece here. It's just issue after issue for them that they haven't really been able to stem the bleeding of.
Yeah, that's kind of the unfortunate part right now, and this could stem further and further away right now if Bipolar doesn't find something with this right now. And Bergenwood is going to try their own hand right here. It's going to force out Yo-Ho-Ho into the wide open, and that will be their undoing right now. Sports doing a really good job carrying for each other, but now, at this situation, if you don't find a pick in the next couple of seconds, you have to be considering taking a big reset right now. And for a Manic, it might just be about hiding away. If they're just going to take the reset, which honestly, I think that's a smart call there.
Yep, that it is. I mean, you've got your significant lead, you spent your heavy ult cycle in, and now Playgroup use their own to retake the space. Oh, these staggers are going to be brutal. You'd have loved to see an Ikigai and Toop go down, you know, on the objective, but instead going down that late. There is a trade onto Gangnam, but it's nice, but it's just not the same. Playgroup are going to be able to get some distance on the wall here, and they're going to look for more picks.
Yeah, as you're going to be able to get that progress back online and get the close spawns for them once more. It could be a very, very important fight. I sound like a broken record when I say that, but it really is the case when you have these kind of push that are this close here. You have that Nano online. You realistically, again, want to try to get it to Bipolar fair in this situation. Sleep is going to stop Cheerio for a little while, but they've caused havoc before. They're looking to do it again. The Nano's going to get invested, and now it basically does nothing because Koda gets knocked around. Isn't going to find a single drop of value off of it, and now Playgroup going to take this fight, and with the way things are right now, there's a good chance they take away this lead, too.
It's going to be close. It's going to be awkward. But yeah, they should be able to get that lead. At just under 2 minutes left, this could be Playgroup snatching the map back away from Shenzhen Strikers. Again, it's been so back and forth here on Esperanza. They could go for a touch, use the Nano Boost to keep the fight on the cart going. But that requires the backhand to stay alive first.
Yeah, it really does right now as Manic. It's going to get taken out in due time right now, as unfortunately that is going to prove to be a costly error right now. As we see more of the investment Bipolar Bear again. Going to go in for a big Primal Rage, trying to help each other out, but unfortunately it's going to result in another reset, and it will result in Playgroup taking back the lead, yet another switch of the lead, and now for Shenzhen Strikers, it's starting to get a little messy.
Yeah, it's a bold spot there. They could have gone for the Nano even in that 4v5, and I wouldn't have hated it either, but I like to save it through. I like to try and only use these ults in the even number scenarios, and I respect that type of a safe judgment. Poles could be huge, but misses. Oh,
I mean, it still connects in some way, but right now, the notice right now, the cart's slowly being kind of taken back the other way right now. It's really hard to take down a Nano Winston in any regard right now, but Overclock's going to be used. Found the one hit, found the two hit, needs the third on to Cheerio, but Gangnam's going to be the one to finish them off in that situation. And now, this could potentially be the game-ending scenario right now. Playgroup wants to get the advantage. They want to move forward. They have everything big right now, and right now, if you're Playgroup, you're kind of hoping that you just get some ultimates out here.
A blade from Manic would be huge here. If he gets the stable, the Genji could be the hero once again, but has to stay alive first.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. They managed to get rid of them, and now you don't necessarily need the blade in this situation right now.
He's trolled. He's trolled.
He's gone a little in too deep right now, and now it's going to be a rough situation right now. Yo-Ho-Ho with a great cleanup. Going to be able to keep their support alive, and now here comes the Trek right now. While we are going to see the cleanup come through here, now we're looking at, I mean, special, what are we talking, like 3 or 4 fights in a row at least?
Yeah, I'm saying 3 here. It's not ideal, and you had to spend your overclock and your rally to clean up like a 3v3 that you had cooldown HP positional advantage in. Really not a great spot for the Shenzhen Strikers. They've got to be super, super efficient with their next couple fights.
Yeah, they have to be right now. And it's got to start right here, right now. They're so close right now. As things are right now, spawn advantage has gone away from both sides right now. So both teams evenly matched into that regard. But now, it's all about fun and the value here because Manic has this blade online. You would want, realistically, if you can get away with this, not using it, that'd be awesome. But right now, big slave is Manic sitting super low right now. Yo-Ho, not in the best case scenario either right now. As you're going to see that dive right now, Playgroup is coming away with it right now. It all comes down to Manic right now. Has found nothing so far with this blade. Unfortunately, they have just zoned out entirely. There's only Cheerio and Manic still fighting on the point, trying to make something happen. Unfortunately, Their teammates are just getting out of the spawn room. They're not all that fast. There's so much great stall coming through. Unfortunately, there's no heals to keep them up. A pulse bomb will end things out, and Play Group will take the advantage 2-1, holding it back here on Esperanza.
That they do. It's so close, so back and forth. But when all is said and done, as you mentioned, Playgroup are able to take that win. And remember, it's such a huge lead in favor of Shenzhen Strikers, right? That gets them to that point. Like, was that it? Like 90 meters they must have been at?
Yeah.
But obviously, the comeback is able to come through. And I think that is off the back of, to my eyes, Shenzhen Strikers looking a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit shaken. And they kind of overspend. They make some mistakes that, in my opinion, are uncharacteristic. Mm-hmm. And because of that, Plate Group put consecutive maps on the board, now up in our series 2-1.
Yeah, and good for them at situation. Again, we were looking at a certain timeline when we were back on Saravasa, where, again, they were down 2-0. They were a bit of a rough spot on Saravasa. It was looking like maybe we were going to have the makings of a quick one before us, but no. They fight back. They make their style work. They take away some close maps, are able to make it their own in the situation. And now, once again, it's going to be the choice of Shenzhen Strikers here for the second time in a row. And now, you really need the response here in this situation. You need to take this to the most advantageous place possible for what you want to do in this scenario. And especially we're already figuring out what the next map is. Fourth map going to be on the board. We're going to Escort, and specifically it's going to be Dorado. And I want your immediate thoughts on this pickup map here.
They're going to play more Winston.
Yeah.
Going to be pretty obvious, right? Do they want to play a hit scan? Are they going to stick with this, Soj Genji setup? Because if they want to move Yohoho onto, a Widow, it would be a strong pick. Obviously, it means you have to play more for your tank, more for your divers, less for your backline, because your backline don't have to worry as much about standing in it essentially is what is an open field, as you sometimes are in Esperanza. It's a curious choice, though. I think they are confident, in theory, that their loss on Esperanza on the Monkey Mirror was just misplays, momentum, what have you, and that on Dorado they'll be able to do it cleaner. And I don't mind that thought process at all. We'll just have to wait and see how it actually plays out, though, on the server.
Yeah, it's obviously that we're going to see in the situation, because it should be very clear what's going to happen for both sides, realistically. I want to see if something comes out differently, but it doesn't seem to be that situation. But this is the first map I think we've come across where Widowmaker is a very real possibility. It's not the most likely thing in the world. I think both teams are very comfortable with kind of running things quickly and trying to run these fights very fast. But I think if you get into a situation where maybe if you're on the attack, you get a couple fights and realizing, hey, something is not working, that Widow can deliver a lot of presence. It can kind of make everyone have to play more carefully, because you could be the worst Widow in the world. If you know there's a Widow sitting on the other side of some cliff, you are way less likely to peek and try to make a play. So it's just going to be about the adaptation if things start going the way back into Play Group, because right now they seem comfortable. They seem like they are in clutch mode, if anything else. This team has been clutching up throughout the entirety of the day already, Spectrum. So they got to make it happen in this fourth map here if they want to put themselves on map point, or more so match point in the situation, because Shenzhen Strikers do not want to go down 3-1.
No, they absolutely do not. So we'll have to wait and see if they can, as you mentioned, clutch up here. I think considering how close we saw Esperanza get, then it's absolutely a possibility for either team just to run away with this map. So getting that momentum right off the bat is going to be a huge factor here. As we mentioned, Widowmaker, a possibility, and one I think would find a lot of value here. I can't lie. I think we have been seeing, some teams, while they have been struggling to mark their tank, I think having a Widow to control your backline rotations especially would be super, super valuable, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we've all seen a Widowmaker go absolutely off here. I mean, off the top of my head, Hydron's gone off here, so is PGE. I think another moment like that could well be a bomb bunner for lobby admin, but instead we're seeing an Ash Mirror, by the looks of things, between Bergenworth and Yo-Ho-Ho. I think one thing we are seeing is Gangnam is able to put out just more consistent pressure than Manic is on the Genji. Obviously, these Genji clips, we've been seeing them hit so consistently, have been hugely impactful. But one of the big things about this Winston comp is that you don't really need to be a mechanical head case to find value. It is about just, putting yourself in scenarios to find frags and doing it. And that might be something that the Shenzhen Strikers find they actually struggle with as they start out on their own offense.
Yep. Gonna have to see it right now, as I like the fact that you bring out the Ashes in this situation, and I think the Ashes can find a lot of value. Unfortunately, Genji is especially on that. That's not exactly the start you want to have on your attack in this situation. As I expertly predicted, Yo-Ho-Ho immediately gonna go over to the Widowmaker instead.
Yeah, it's easier and, dare I say, better than the Ashe. Oh no, just wanted to fake the Widow to go on the Ashe later. That is so nerdy, and also will find no value, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll have to see right now. Again, I think they can still find a lot of value on the Genji and the Ashe respectively here for Shenzhen Strikers right now, but it's all about making a gap in this situation right now. See the pressure coming through. God, we're going to lose the support super early on again, but the bright side is you're going to trade off, and again, these spawns are going to favor, for the time being, Shenzhen Strikers in this scenario, so going to see if Playgroup can kind of clean things up a little bit. With Bipolar Bear not going to reach that health pack in time, we're going to see them move forward even further, so for Shenzhen Strikers, a great start to get things going.
Yeah, that it is. I think we are seeing just how competent they are at setting up these dives with Manic, even though the Genji can't stay in as long as the Tracer maybe can. But they're able to capitalize all the same using those dash cycles to make the backlines live hell. They trade out positively, and with closer spawns, that's a perfect spot for them. This retake as well is going to be incredibly tricky, in theory, with Yo-Ho-Ho on a strong angle.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of dives are not really what you're hoping for in that scenario. When you dive, you're hoping to have the follow-up, hoping to have something, but unfortunately, it doesn't happen, and Gangnam thought about using the Pulse Bomb, thought twice, and just thought a third time, and it's going to find nothing, but it doesn't matter. They're cleaned up anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say that using the Pulse from there would have been a pretty poor decision there from Gangnam, and invest it anyhow. Obviously, no Pulse on the other side of things, but it's still a tool they would have loved to bring through. Remember, no Kleins on the other side. The only way of surviving it is rallying or pulsing, or nanoing, sorry. None of those are really optimal here. Nano Blade online for Shenzhen Strikers. We've only seen them go towards it the one time, but it was a 3K off the back of it. We'll see if they invest again here.
Gonna have to see right now. Nano Blade online. It's going in hot. The sleep is gonna miss. And right now they're trying to chase either down. Manic has gotten rid of one. It's gotten rid of two. The cleanup that you're hoping for right now is just the Winston Primal Rage gonna come online here. Is getting them to try to help out. They're buying a lot of time. And in fact, they've gotten picks, but Manic more so is cleaning things around. 3.5 meters left to go, and at this point, Bipolar Bear can do nothing except for live as much as they can. Try to see if you can get the Nano back on you. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. It's a good fight back, but Strikers will have just under 4 minutes to start their second attack.
If you're trying to clutch up that fight and you are Playgroup, you have to go instantly towards Yo-Ho-Ho. You have to gank that Ashe. Because if you're trying to clutch up a fight, you need to find a kill quickly. You're just not eliminating the Winston or the Tracer in the kind of time zone you need. And Yo-Ho-Ho being totally uncontested there, a big mistake. Cart rolling through into second with a healthy enough time bank here. Shenzhen Strikers as well, their ult bank coming online. Only spending the Nanoblade in that last fight was not too bad for them at all.
No, not at all. You get the Ashe taken out as well right now, but you're just going to trade out here as Bipolar Bear going to take a nice little nap in that nano form. It's got to be a very uncomfortable nap right now. It's going to separate right now, but both sports going to do great to help each other out. Going to invest the rally in this situation right now as Shenzhen Strikers willing to make a sizable investment to pull back this fight, and it looks like it's paying off in some dividends right now, but Manic is going to take it out by Bergenworth here. The Ashe finding its approximate value right now, but Yo-Yo Cheerio is going to have to back out, take the reset, and try to keep pushing this card along.
They'll be back in a second, though. Yo-Ho-Ho just looking for an opportunity to toss this Bob. Maybe it will come sooner rather than later if they find another headshot.
Yeah, gonna have to see right now is eventually they will be forced off of the point right now, but still, I mean, despite the fact that there's only been a minute, that cart has made good progress to be able to get over to this archway right here, right now. As they're gonna get forced around, gonna see the separation of Ikagi right now. Is able to stay alive right now, but the separation of the heals is exactly what you're looking for in that scenario right now, as Manic is unfortunately gonna get taken care of. Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate in that scenario. So for them, it's all about just trying to, I think you just take the reset at this point. You have to just get out and reset.
I think it's pretty hard for a Playgroup to punish the space down to 100 HP, but they can't actually chase this because, remember, they don't have a Tracer to kind of do that kind of work for them. Bob invested, Bergenworth down. What a huge misplay.
Yeah, it is in that situation right now. Now, Ikagi does have this nano ready to go, so if you wanted to try to pop it somewhere, you could, but there's not really much room to do so, especially the fact you don't have a Wednesday, you don't have the Genji. You've lost your main target, so now you essentially have to give away this fight, and unfortunately, it's going to happen very slowly.
I mean, if you're Shenzhen Strikers here, you've just traded time for ults. Okay, you guys have to reset right now. You need to reset. There's no way you kill here. Yeah, off the map. That's exactly where you gotta go. So, It would be better if Ikigai and Yo-Ho-Ho had gone for a normal kite path towards spawn and either died or, not. As it stands, it's not a great spot, but my group have backline ults and a pulse bomb. Shenzhen Strikers have basically everything. That's not a bad spot here for the Shenzhen Strikers.
Yeah, it really is not in that situation, but I guess the bright side of the situation for Playgroup, got only a minute left on your defense, potentially, to be able to hold them here on this second point, and that's a really ideal spot, all things considered, but the Nano Blade has been used, gonna get knocked away, and everyone's gonna force away, and I'll see the drop, trying to find the honor right now. Eventually will get taken out, gonna try to see if you can find Coda in this situation. Unfortunately, not really gonna have an opportunity as the trade out comes through. You've lost your tank again, but Yo-Ho-Ho is keeping Shenzhen Strikers alive in this fight as the pulse bomb's gonna come online. Not gonna find any value really either, but the bomb's gonna be invested pretty much to get the point moving, and now, especially trying to fight, this will be very important. You should decide second point.
Yeah, they're gonna be just dueling rallies now in this battle. Gonna go first with... Okay, that's bold.
That is it's a choice, I'll be honest. It is a choice, and right now it's, for Toot is paying off right now. It's keeping their team alive and things right now. Staying at 4.5 meters, and that 4.5 is going to quickly go down to 0 here as Strikers will be able to cap out the second point. Minute 30, going to be on the clock. They did empty the ult bank to win the fight, though.
If I was Kota, I would really try and wait a little bit longer on that rally so you can keep it as tight as possible. Instead, we have to see a bit of reaching to try and punish Toots for being, I guess you call out of position there. But as it goes out, you kind of just die after trading rallies. It's a really awkward play to make.
Yeah, it really is awkward here, and Cheerio gonna get forced out once again in this scenario, as Playgroup does have that Primal Rage ready to go, so they can take a slightly more aggressive fight should they desire. But either way, it's a choice they're going to have to eventually make. The soft dive going to be given onto Ikagi, but Ikagi going to get separated momentarily from Toot, but the backup will be there as Bipolar Bear indeed will keep up the aggression. Is looking to find someone on a juggle. Unfortunately, everyone's going to get forced out, and they realize it's not going to find its value, so a little bit more to come through here. We'll jump out, and reset will come through.
Yeah, that they will. I've got to say, we're going to shout out Jinx one time for hitting some absolutely crazy nades. Yo-Yo Cherry is absolutely swallowing them so far, and it has made it so much harder for the main tank of the Shenzhen Strikers to find that value. 30 seconds left to go. Last fight territory. Manic going down here, not what you love to see.
Now, that is not the greats either. Especially when you have the Nano Blade ready to go, and you're going to use the Nano onto Cheerio right now, and it's going to find some kind of value here. You're going to try to chase down Bergenworth. Unfortunately, it's not going to get rid of them momentarily. And now, while we do see the separation of Coda, they're going to be forced back. And now, you have to go in with a dry blade here. That is not the scenario you're hoping for.
It's not perfect, but you can still find some value. We've seen Manic do it before, and already starts cooking is the Genji.
Yeah, it's got to be massive right now. Unfortunately, the Bob is going to be the closer on that scenario. You see bodies coming back one after another. The Bob is finding so much battle. Bergenworth finds the 3K to finish it out, and we will see it be held. That's not a very far distance for that third point either. That is very much in that one fight territory. And now it's all about the response of Playgroup in this scenario. It's basically about, can they commit to a better dive?
I think that they have done enough. I would argue that on Dorado par is about here. It's either getting stopped just before third or getting it to right before the very end of the map, right? You get it around an additional extra corner. It sucks that they don't get it around that corner, and it sucks that they get kind of stalled out on that final point due to, I think Matic gets picked a couple times. Obviously, Yo-Yo Cheerio eats a couple nades. But, at the end of the day, they've done enough, I think, as long as their defense is as strong as their offense. Mm-hmm. I am not a huge fan of this Genji, especially on defense. I think the Tracer is so much more consistent, less ult-based, less multi-kill based, and when you are playing to defend, you're not really playing to eliminate the enemy team, right? You're playing to stall time, you're playing to keep them away, keep them at the doors. And I think the Genji, as we've kind of already seen in this attack, is a liability. Manic, even though he has been fantastic on that Genji, has also been a liability. I think that's both sentences can be true. Both statements can coexist. And we have to wait and see now whether that's going to continue to be the case, because if it is, Shenzhen Strikers could very quickly find themselves staring down the barrel of a 3-1 series, forced to almost reverse sweep to find victory here in the EU Masters Grand Final.
Yeah, gonna see if there's any kind of level of success right now. Gonna see immediately the clearing of the high ground. See if Jinx can get up there and find the value. Unfortunately, Again, Cheerio has been really good at staying on this backline, but you have to kind of recognize the same for Bipolar Bear. They've been giving an increased amount of pressure right now, and a lot of these fights have been dictated by whose support line ends up going down first, but Bergenworth is going to be the first to drop in this scenario, going to be matching that Genji from Manic in this situation, so right now just steadily ticking along right now, but they have to take a quick reset, and Spectrion, again, it's a scenario where they have to find some kind of opening if they want to get anything moving.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Yo-Ho-Ho is going to be incredibly free here on the Ashe. Gangnam not going to mirror it out. So there's going to be little scrutiny onto the hit scan. I tell a lie as Bergenworth finds the opening kill.
Yeah, that's how you draw them every single time. You send in the nade, you get the kill, you move on. Unfortunately, it's not quite going their way right now, as it's very much 50-50. Again, spawns are going to favor Play Group way more. So Shenzhen Strikers, while they're still waiting for people, they might be forced to back here shortly.
Yeah, surely. Plenty of
Or
pressure
not,
coming through
you
on
know.
Sienna, who will be eliminated. It's just a Winston on point. I would expect Playgroup to be repelled here. They just don't have the healing throughput to stay active here in this battle. Shenzhen Strikers have to shift their defense slightly, but they aren't repelled just yet.
Yeah, definitely going to see if Play Group can make something happen. Got a big fight coming up here, mainly because you have a lot of low ultimates, but there's one ultimate that's about to be online for both sides. It's going to be that Nano on board. So Jinx can help Bipolar find as much value as possible with the nade, and then the Nano. This fight could be shaken down very quickly, but Maniac already going to be going in a little bit in this situation right now. Nano's still ready to go right now, waiting for an opportunity, but instead, we're going to see Yo-Yo Cheerio go in to sleep. It's not going to hit right now, and now going to see if Yo-Yo Cheerio can bully anybody in the situation, but the Nano's been given, but the Nano hit while the anti was active, so it doesn't give them any of that health back right now, so they're going in pretty much completely in a bad situation. Unfortunately, that fight's going to fall apart.
Yeah, Bipolar Pair finds so little value from that Nano boost. It's an awesome... The best Jinx is going to be wanting back. And with about 2 minutes left in the time, mate, there's enough time to get another one, but it's not an ultimate you want to toss away so lightly when Ikigai have their own. Shenzhen Strikers and Play Group both coming up to 3-4 ults each, but the Nano is such a huge tool here. Shenzhen Strikers can bleed another 30 seconds off the bank probably just by playing a strong defense. And yeah, with it back onto Gangnam as well, then they are just, right now, standings tall.
Yeah, this is not the kind of dive you really expected out of Play Group. I would have figured the kind of team they've been performing as, they would have already had an opportunity to get in here and make something happen, but unfortunately, it's not going their way at all. But it's going to be all about this play right now, as Manic said go and get one, gonna get two, gonna make it a 3K. The 3K Burger going to be on display here, and eventually going to see they clean up here. Suit's going to take down Gangnam, and now a minute left on the clock here, and now Play Group are, perhaps beside themselves.
I wouldn't say beside themselves, but they've got to be getting to the lock-in stage of things, right? I mean, coming down to last fight territory, you've got plenty of time for it. We just need to see them procedurally clear higher ground. They've been okay at that so far, and then begin the snowballing. They're not doing that, though. They're just walking down main.
Yeah, not the best scenario, especially when you have an Ana who has that nade right now. Coda isn't going to get any of that Inspire, any of that health, really. So, unfortunately, they're going to not find the value that you were really hoping for there. As From Rage is going to hit bodies around right now. Toot is getting low, but Ikagi is there to keep them up the entirety of the time. And unfortunately, Bipolar Bear is going to find Diddly Squad from that fight. And now it's down to Bergenworth. They got one on that, but it's all they're going to get right now. So, it's all about the rest of this Play Group team to clear things away, because this is very much final fight territory, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Ascension Strikers, only a couple of bodies remaining, but right now, the worst case scenario might be online for Play Group. You have this Primal Rage. You're going to stay alive for so long here in a 3v1 scenario. You don't have much room to give up, though, so you can't really get off this cart. So it's all about Ikagi and Toot making it back, finding approximate value, and they are going to be back, trying to help out right now, and Yo-Ho has come back in the best way possible, getting rid of Bipolar Bear, and now it could be all falling apart. The full hold is right around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Spectrum, it is falling apart before our very eyes, just one at a time, and Shenzhen Strikers have found the response and will take us to the 5th map, and now we are back to a tie game.
I've got to say, was, in my opinion at least, a huge mistake from Play Group to not clear the high ground. You know, they go into that final fight, about 45 seconds left on the clock. They have time. You know, it sucks that you've got to be wedded to the payload when you actually battle, but that's just the reality of fighting in low-time scenarios. But instead, with plenty of time and plenty of ults, they skip out so many fight stages. You know, you can't fast fight with a rally if you don't have some sort of speed in your team, like a Juno Ring, like a Luzio. Instead, we rally, we just regular speed walk down main and then get naded and crossfired rightly because we haven't cleared any of the angles. A Genji, a Winston will be crossfiring from Unfortunately, a bit of a collapse in the last stages of Dorado there, in my opinion, to gift wrap the map towards Shenzhen Strikers. And as mentioned, now tied up 2-2 momentum now on the side of the winners bracket team. Shenzhen Strikers, a pathway has opened up towards the championship. Now, will they take it?
Yeah, and that's the question of whether or not they can, because again, we're down to a scenario where now there is very much, I believe at this point, just one path you can go down in terms of picking, if I'm not mistaken in this regard. But either way, it's something we're going to find out here, because again, they'll have time to be able to decide from the small bit of pool that is available, because we are going to cut it to another little break, Spectrion, but on the other side of this break, we could be deciding our champion on a couple of maps, or maybe, just maybe, Spectrion, we could have that 7-map banger on our hands to begin the run of finals. Is it going to happen? You're going to have to find out right after this break.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
The back and forth affair continues here in the EU Master Division. What looked like it could have been a very one-sided affair when you look back at our first map has quickly changed from that narrative. We are here in a 2-2 situation, Spectreon, but this is not regular season. This isn't the upper bracket. This is the lower bracket. This is grand final. So we are being a 1-4 situation. And now, to go back to my original point that I falsely said earlier, this is a map that's going to be very important in that if we do go to a 7-map series, whoever wins this right here is pretty much going to be the decider of where we end up going for that 7th and final map.
Indeed, and of course, adds not to also underbill this as not being the season point, as it were, right? You know, you win this and you win the next map, you're done. You're set. You are the CGL Masters tier champions. And of course, the map that we're going to be going to next has just been decided, folks. It's going to be King's Row. I'm not going to let the graphics spoil that one for me. I think it's a very standard choice to make. Obviously, well, some of the other hybrid choices are being a little bit more divey, especially once you get into that payload side of things. I think King's is a very, very reasonable map, right? You try and play Winston in second especially, and you're going to get frontline traded, and you're going to be sent back to spawn packing pretty quick. So I think that this here is a clear sign from Plate Group that even though they are willing to take the dive mirror against Shenzhen Strikers, it's not something that they want to do if they can avoid it at all. This is them absolutely avoiding it. We've seen Strikers, of course, when they're forced to play these more frontline trading maps, they go towards Doom Kiri. And, Doom, that kind of style is going to work very, very effectively to clear the high ground of first point, to assail third point as well to a lesser degree. The issue, in my opinion, is absolutely going to be second. If they can snowball that, just roll through it without a proper fight, then they're going to be in great standing for the map. If they get kind of stymied, stalled out, though, that's Plate Group's time to shine.
Yeah, definitely will be that kind of situation, as again, it's been the case throughout the entirety of the series. No substitution. These 5 are the team's bread and butter going into this one, and I imagine it's not going to change for the rest of the series either, as we're about to get into this King's Row. And again, in the situation where the map pick is now in their favor, we're going to see what side you want to start on in the situation if you are Shenzhen Strikers here, which I imagine most teams do opt to go on the defense first and foremost. Less like that narrative. It does not look like it's going to, actually it is going to slightly, okay, so in this situation, Shenzhen Strikers are going to be attacking first and foremost, and exactly as you said, Spectreon, you got the Kier, you got that Doomfist, and for Plate Group, they're playing something very, I mean, this is, minus the Pharah, this is, I mean, not even minus the Pharah, this is very much heavy poke.
It is heavy poke. It's very curious here that we're going towards this Sigma, because in my opinion, the Doom v Sig 1v1 is really, really favored towards the Doom. If I was Plate Group, I'd be much more comfortable playing something along the lines of a Malga or an Orisa. We've seen them, try both previously and find success on at least the Orisa, so moving away from it is very curious to me. The Zen as well, so squishy, you're going into something that's going to put the pressure onto you. An Alari, a Brig, I feel like would have been the stronger choice, but we'll have to wait and see if they've made their bed and force the line it now.
Ooh, yeah, gonna knock them out of that accretion in that situation, so Bipolar Bear already going to be forced to back out in this scenario right now, but is not afraid to keep bringing a lot of the pressure as well, while they will take a lot of damage in that scenario. Nobody has gone down quite yet. The separation is going to be apparent right now, but unfortunately, Yo Cheerio should have, I mean, should have been taken down there, but the cleanse, the punch, is going to keep them alive, and now that first hit getting very, very close to going over right now, and you try to see if you can keep up. Cheerio, unfortunately, not going to happen. I mean, at the very least, it was a great call there by Shenzhen Strikers. Really close to taking that one away.
Yeah, you got the pick, and as long as you don't get staggered, you could probably go for a relatively fast refight. Curious to see why we're tickling the point. It feels like an unnecessary risk, but you can go in, and I would imagine Biggenworth is still going to be just walking through the archway now.
Yeah, will be the case. Right now, already a minute to be down at the drain. 3 more to go. Still a lot of time to work with in the scenario, but we do know time this game in the wrong scenario can go by very, very fast right now, as now you got to see how you want to commit this dive right now. One scenario would be potentially to put pressure on this point. It's going to force the Manic to eventually drop down, or somebody to eventually drop down in this scenario, but right now not too worried about it, as essentially the tank is going to drop down in this scenario right now, and that's potentially a death sentence for the rest of the squad right now. Aren't going to have that level of defense, and that is what it will be. This right here, Spectron, is exactly what Shenzhen Strikers wanted to happen in this fight.
Yeah, they're able to just get that Tesla cannon cooking. Yo-Yo Cherry, I believe, a 4-piece in that fight. Looking for 5 here. Onto Gangnam. Manic steals it away. Gangnam finds an X effect onto Ikigai, but it won't matter at all. The change over to the Winston comp has found plenty of success, but my worry is what works on King's Row first. On second, might be a slightly different ball game. The double flex means that you're a little bit more comfortable taking these front to back fights, right? You have the healing to keep Yo-Yo Cherry in the fight, but you're still so focused around your backline ults and around your Ana nades as well. If you don't hit either, then you're going to really struggle, especially in some of these neutral fights.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of situation for them here. And obviously, ult advantage is kind of going both ways right now, but Playgroup have the immediate usage right now. Shenzhen Strikers have to work up some of these. They got that 80% on the primal range, 70% coming up on Bob, and 2 is way too far away to actively get it during this fight. So it's going to be down to who wanted to go on these ults first and foremost. I imagine they're looking for the nano right now as they're going to go for the jump right now. But we're in dead. See the blade potentially being popped right now. Manic wants to make sure they can go alive, but Gangnam's going to go and get rid of one. Is going to die at the expense, but we're going to see whether or not it's going to be able to shut down this fight from actively continuing as Manic goes in. Is going to try to find something. Unfortunately, cannot hit the shots as they will see the cleanup. It looks like this cart, while it's pushing for now, should realistically be stopped soon.
I don't mind the investment there. Gangnam instantly over to the Genji here. Actually, that's curious. By Polar Bear on the Malgo, that's pretty standard. Genji rather than Pharah makes sense for third. On second, I feel like they're about comparable. So, Playgroup, not much to work with in this fight. Shenzhen Striker is not on their strongest cycle ever because they don't have the nano, but they're just going to play for an Orbital Ray and convert off of that. That's so awkward. Yo-Yo Cherio calls for a pause. I'm assuming it was a Manic DC there because it's not like the Genji player to get picked off that early without spending at least a cooldown. We didn't hear a thing, so
yeah,
it's kind of got to be just some internet issues. Hopefully we get that sorted out soon enough. This fight is going to be very chaotic, though, for Shenzhen Strikers. Obviously, they have to wait for the Genji. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But other than that, they've got 4 checkmarks bar the Nano Boost. They're just going to force the trans, wait it out, go back in with whatever they deign to invest, and they convert off the back of it, in theory.
Yeah, and the bright side of this as well is they're kind of backing around right now. And they have to wait for them to get back, but Toot is kind of able to kind of hang around with everybody, and they should realistically be able to build up the rest of that orbital array. But instead, the investment right there comes through. The double ult by both sides of the situation, but now Manic is going to have this blade ready and might be able to do it for free right now. Is going to be ready right now. Yo-Yo Cheerio is going to escape momentarily, sitting super low. Is going to be able to live for now, and now smash around. They will be able to engage once again very quickly.
That they will. Still sucks, as mentioned, not having the Genji. Sleep is good. Ray is better. This could be their moment.
Yeah, that's a rough situation for them right now. It's all about trying to survive right now. As the blade doesn't find too much value at the end of the day. It's going to be able to cut down the Malga, but it's falling back into the favor once again of Playgroup here. That cart slowly continuing to move along. It's some big shots here from Yo-Ho-Ho right now as they're getting some pressure in the backline. The Genjis both trying to engage that backline, and both of them, well, would have been successful. Unfortunately, Manic will not. So that's going to be another stop. Playgroup going to be swapping around, honestly, trying to make something work here.
I think that the pick of the Strikers is better now. Double flex backline is strange here. I wasn't minding what we were on the previous. On the Ana Zen, they're very vulnerable to a backline hit. Gangnam and Bipolar Bear going to be licking their lips looking at that.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case. And right now, no ultimates really online either right now. Gangnam is the closest right now, so if you're able to get up that blade right now, it'd be very, very tantalizing here. But that's an excellent punch. I mean, you are mid-air in that scenario, but still, it's the back and forth trade. You lose the tank super early on as well, so for Shenzhen Strikers, this is realistically their best chance to come away with this right now, as Gangnam's going to get healed up, and now a blade might have to be their savior in this situation, especially on they're not giving us much room to breathe in this scenario as right now, as Gangnam is just waiting for the right opportunity.
Window pops, Yo-Yo Cherio, dead Shenzhen Strikers. Unless you've got a miracle trade in the wings here, you've just got to go reset. You've got to wait out the window. Perfect play there from Jinx, and remember what we said when we were discussing this map, right? You can't get stalled out on second point. That's where your comp is going to, for lack of a polite way of phrasing it, suck. Right? They're bashing their head into a brick wall. They haven't found a mechanical pick yet. They're running out of time now. They're not at full last fight territory yet, but Yo-Yo Cherio, if he loses his life, might make it so.
Yeah, gonna see right now, and the investment's gonna come through right now as Kagi pretty much gets turned from 200 to nothing in that scenario. And the way it's coming through for Gangnam has gotten rid of 3. What a cleanup right there, and now we are in the same scenario that we were at back on Dorado. A great start for Playgroup, and now starting to see a little bit of the struggle come through. Or more so for Shenzhen Strikers, the struggle's coming through.
I mean, they're coming up for their ultimates. That's kind of their silver lining here, but this early hit is perfect here for Play Group.
Ooh, yeah, you see the anti as well, and it's still going to result in the cleanup here. Shenzhen Strikers are now struggling, and now it's elbow touch at this point, and with who's left, it has to be Cheerio, if they can even stay alive.
Meteor Strike goes to point.
Gotta use the
Meteor
ult.
Strike goes to point. He'll be able to get there in time. There's going to be some amounts of healing coming through from the ultimate. There's decent sustain here. There's going to buy some time. The block will get more. The Empower Punch, you just got to use it for shields here, realistically.
You got, Unfortunately, they don't get out of there. You had the opportunity to get out of there and take some pressure away and go for a second retouch and reset the timer. Unfortunately, that does not happen, and it looks like it might not even gone their way anyway. The Kitsune Rush would have been really hard to deal with, and the Blade would have had to have been essentially a miracle. So now, especially on goal line has been set here to put yourself on match point right now, so Shenzhen Strikers need an excellently coordinated defense here.
That they do. Again, first point going to be home ground for them. Second point not going in their favor. I gotta say, the Play Group have done more than enough to put themselves in what I'd call the lead on King's Row here on their map pick, and so far, absolutely finding value. Not the attack you really wanted. I mean, it was kind of brutal to watch, right? Just watching them try again and again. Their ult cycles gets messed up, and from then on out, it's just a bit of a collapse.
And it's really unfortunate that it kind of goes down that way for them, too. So now, I'm kind of hoping to see them bounce back here. Because, again, this is a team that's proven to kind of have these moments of being able to bounce back. But it's a scenario where Play Group isn't likely going to waste a lot of time here on this first attack right now, especially if Bergenworth somehow manages to find a pick onto like Yo-Ho-Ho or Ikagi in the situation, because if that happens, Play Group is the kind of team that is going to just go full speed the moment they realize they have that advantage. So Shenzhen Strikers need to not mess up earlier on, and I'm not cursing this right now because I don't think Bergenworth is going to find a pick to start, but it'd be really funny if they did.
See if Violet jumps. So far, nobody gives a peek to the Mercy boosted Widow. And Bergen gonna make a swap over to the Cassidy here. Don't mind that at all. Play Group playing for the poke. Shenzhen Strikers playing a poke dive. If they hit a nade, they're happy. If they don't, they're less so.
Yeah, it's gonna be that kind of scenario here. But as you see this swap over a couple, actually almost a full, literally a full sale swap minus, I believe maybe just the Genji in that scenario. So gonna go back to a very traditional style here from Alga. It is a little cringe. Well, CGL is going to make the official cringe meter for next season, but we'll get there when we get there, as this fight is online. And right now, if you're Play Group, you might be focusing on trying to target down somebody, but they're going to go through right now and separate, I think, more than you would really hope right now. You're essentially dead in that scenario. Unfortunately, it's going to fall apart very quickly. I think realistically, I mean, especially around they have the time, why not just force the rotation up onto the high ground instead?
I think forcing the rotation up to the higher ground, in fact, going for a longer rotation at all into Ashe Anna isn't what you really want to do. But that being said, going onto objective as well, trying to force it, you don't have the defensive cooldowns for that, right? On a Reinhardt with a Mei, maybe you can kind of stall it out, but I think you kind of have to be looking for a mistake, looking for a target here. I think going hit scanless without a sim as well is very, very bold. Because now we have to see this, like, Mickey Mouse, like, squiggly rotation to take care of the high grounds. We'll have to wait and see if it works out for them.
Yeah, and there's honestly, the possibility is there right now, and they're doing the exact same thing that has been suggested right now. Koda struggling there for a moment, getting super low as right now Winston in the background kind of delivering some pressure, but Ikagi and a lot of people on the side over on Shenzhen Strikers struggling to stomp down. Not going to result in any deaths, but Jinx, again, is going to get taken out first, and it's all going to fall apart. Once again, you're going to see if you can find at least one pick in the scenario right now, but unfortunately,
big nades.
I mean, it is, and you don't get anything. They didn't have the cardiac overdrive either, so another quick fight. And for Play Group, this, again, is definitely not how you drew it up.
Yeah, remember, with Play Group's composition, you're looking for fights that end quickly. Oh, my great kill. Going in for the refight is kind of crazy onto the Kiriko. I think most Genjis were back there. But going for these long rotations, your cooldowns get bled out. Shenzhen Strikers will win things out eventually. They got 5 check marks now. Minute 30 left to go. If Shenzhen Strikers can win the next fight with maybe just a Bob, maybe just a rally, then they're in prime position to take King's Row, go up 3-2 in the series.
Yeah, gonna have to see right now as Manic, instead of going with the blade, has gotten the 1, has gotten the 2. It's looking fine. Another third, they've been really good at finding those 3 Ks throughout the day right now, but Bergerworth, he's still trying to keep his team alive and well. If Bipolar Bear is going to lose out on the cardiac overdrive, and unfortunately, everybody is dropping little at a time right now as Bipolar Bear will be taken down, unfortunately. We won't see the recovery. I mean, the single bright side is you have the ult advantage going into the next fight. I mean, very highly so.
Yes. I think Manic misses a couple of shots there onto Bipolar Bear. Kind of baited too into popping that rally. An overinvestment for sure. Plate group now with 5 check marks. Shenzhen Strikers, 50 seconds on the bank. Normally when you're down, so you want to kind of go first, but you don't really have the time bank for that. Plate group have enough check marks to force through the objective, but is that what they're going to do?
Yeah, well, you gotta find out something you want to do here right now. You're gonna activate very quickly using double support ultimates as the anti is gonna come through. Bakota does have that cleanse ready to go in this situation right now. Yo-Ho-Ho has a bow deal match as one tick has come through. A second tick is around the corner as Bergenworth is gonna try to find something, but now it's the Blade online. Gangnam has to find something in this scenario, but they're super low and it's all falling apart at the seams, Spectreon, and now not even a fight left, a touch before anything else is needed.
They'll have the touch, but they won't have it as a full 5. We want to see a push-up here from the Shenzhen Strikers now. We want to force the play group to run through the defenders because at this point, 2 seconds left to go, they can get a touch, but you want to keep it down numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the bright side is you get the second tick, but it also doesn't really matter. This isn't the first round or anything. This isn't a silver lining. This is, you need to win this fight right here and now. Unfortunately, as Bergenworth is trying their darndest, Bipolar Bear is in there trying to do something with this cage fight. Unfortunately, the only thing it is trapping away is their hopes of winning this map, and that's going to be a clear round. Shenzhen Strikers will be able to hit the response button. Gonna take this over to a match point, and now advantage in their hands.
And I think Yo-Yo Cherry in chat there is going to hit the nail on the head. Like, just go dive. This Amalga on King's Attack is playable. It's doable. But we see how they're kind of struggling to play it, right? It doesn't look practice for them. They're going for kind of awkward rotations. Their composition seems like a mishmash of different styles and ideas. Everyone going, you know, for that weird balance between what's comfortable, what's meta, what's a direct counter to what your opponents are playing. And because of that, they never really get themselves in an advantageous position, right? They get poked out consistently, even when they're 5 ults up for 2. Because they pop so many ults so early, then it's just a walk in the park for Shenzhen Strikers to full kite the Ray, full kite the Blossom. I mean, I even forget how many check marks they invested there, right? But when all said and done...
He had all 5, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's everything but the cage, because remember, they cage in that last fight.
Yeah, that's true.
It's semantics even. Like, at that point, we need to be clearing high ground. We need to be killing people. They try that once, and obviously it doesn't go in their favor, because it's kind of not what the comp is for. It does feel like they shot themselves in the foot a little bit with that style of play, and now it's Shenzhen Strikers who are just one map away from taking this CGL season, one map away from eliminating the Plate group. Of course, Plate group do have pick going up next, but as you mentioned, Hunter, if we do go to that map number 7, then it's going to be the Shenzhen Strikers who decide what the final battleground is going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be that debate, because obviously you want to be able to get to that 7th map, and you realize it's out of your control at that point. But what is in your control is obviously getting to that 7th map in the first place, because we've seen times where perhaps teams are thinking further ahead. They're thinking, all right, we're ready for this map 5 when we get there, and then we see them fall at the 4th map. Again, this is a scenario where, being as deep you are into a series, you've already managed to get a very good understanding for each other of what is good, what isn't. And unfortunately, Fake Group goes in there and misreads a lot of what to do in that scenario. Again, the misuse of ultimates, being too aggressive a little too quickly when you don't quite actually have the ability to do a lot with that aggression. So now it's the question of where you want to bring it, because to my understanding, it's going to open back up again in this situation. So there's be a lot more opportunities to pick around. You just can't do any repeat maps in this situation. So you can't just have a funny laugh and, bring it back over to Dorado and run another dive. You have to specifically pick another map where you think, okay, maybe we could take this one away in this regard. But either way, it's what we're going to have in Spectreon. I'm going to give this one to you because this pick is going to be, I say personally, interesting here.
Yeah, that's one word. I wouldn't describe it as puzzling, but it does cause me to raise a little bit of an eyebrow. This guy, I'm going to wait for the bracket, so I can't steal its thunder, but I think that for Plate Group, they've definitely gone towards an option, as you said, Hunter, is interesting. Route 66 here is, in theory, going to be a dive map, right? We've seen that Plate Group, when they're tested, want to go generally towards Malga ground comps. And I understand why they want to do that, because it does seem like it's a little bit more comfortable for them. Instead, going to Route 66, this is the dive map. This is a hit scan map.
Yeah.
Poke if you really want to force something a bit bizarre, but if you try to play the Malgate here, you're going to get punished. I'm very curious to see why they could have gone there, because as memory serves, I believe that there are options like, for example, Shambali that would still be in the pool that would be a lot better for avoiding this dive. I'm going to triple check here to make sure I'm not, going a little bit loony, but it's a very curious choice. I'd love to see if they got something, special cooked up here. But, yeah, Shambali Monastery, still in. I feel like that would have been a little bit of a safer option, but Route 66 is where they decide to take it. We'll see what they've cooked, because remember, a misstep here will cost them their season.
Yeah, it will 100%. You don't have any extra maps to go to. You don't have any takebacks. You can't. It's really, really hard to kind of bounce back if things really don't start going your way. Especially if you're in a situation where obviously Shenzhen Strikers, since again the map was picked against them, they get to decide if they want to attack first or if they want to defend first, and that's obviously the debate. It kind of comes down to honestly just the player mindset. I don't think there's a right or a wrong choice anymore. I don't think that's really the case. So. I'm curious what they want to do in that situation, because I think it's very straightforward what we want to see from Shenzhen Strikers. For Playgroup, they tried something different. It didn't work in the slightest in that regard. So if they're going to do it, I really need to see them do it right, because if we get into scenario spectrum where we get a minute and a half, 2 minutes in, and it results in nothing happening, that's where I would start panicking for this Playgroup squad.
I think I would imagine that Malga Juno Kiri was a one-off. It's been played before at times, if you're playing against maybe a queen on flat ground. I think that was very much a scenario, a case of them just having the wrong tool for the job. I would imagine they don't do that on Hollywood. I think it's a little bit harder to... Route 66, sorry. It's a bit harder to fall into that trap there. Of course, no substitutions here. We haven't been seeing any subs the entire night. It's just two teams of 5 players clashing time and time again. And now we could be seeing the end of, 2 months of play and change?
I mean, yeah, we're looking at upwards of even 3 in that regard. If we're talking about from obviously all the time you take between 8 weeks of regular season, you have the couple weeks that are dedicated towards the midseason, and then a couple of weeks obviously here in the playoffs to get to this point. So these teams have been fighting for a long time to make it to this point, because this isn't some 1 weekend tournament where it happens that quickly. This is the work of what has been 3 to 4 months of preparation for these teams, between scrims, between these practices and these VODs and these matches as well. So it might all come down to here as... Ooh, Ash is interesting. But I do like it, though. I personally like the Ash a lot. Ooh.
Yeah, I think Ash Tracer Monkey here, very, very valid, very standard. I prefer the Ash over the Widowmaker defensively. I think that the sightlines on the first corner especially aren't great for Widow. You kind of have hook shots and main peaks, and neither of them feel great. The Ash is more consistent. It's going to help you mark the tank. It's still decent into the DPS, the squishies. Shenzhen Strikers, of course, Manix on the Genji. We've seen that every single time before. Yo-ho-ho, the Widowmaker. I don't mind either, but we can see if we can actually rip some heads as we start off.
Yeah, would be a great start in that regard for them. I'm going to see the deflect right there. Again, the bounce away as well. Again, the Shenzhen team has been very prepared over the time to kind of react when things go their way. And now, going into this session right here, as Yo-ho will go down first and foremost. So, like you want to have that kind of start to get things going here, and Bipolar Bear finding a pick. They're going to shut things down for now, Spectrum. Again, it's going to be these kind of initiations where the moment they think they need to go on it, they just need to pull that trigger.
Yeah, see what they can get going here. The swap over to the Ash is interesting, actually, from Yo-ho-ho. The Widowmaker is normally a little bit more playable when you're attacking here, because you only need that one click, that one headshot to open up that fight, right? Ash, a bit more consistent, which is why it's more valuable on the defense. So far, though, just an exchange of cooldowns and nades. This time, though, the trade's more back and forth.
Yeah, Gainer is going to help get to Manic, though. Does manage to find one, but it looks like that's all that's realistically going to be lost in this scenario. We see a little bit of play in the backline, but unfortunately, it's just going to be Manic getting sent to the spawn room. And in fact, Cheerio going to give a little bit of alt charge as well, because, hey, why not?
I gotta say, I know it's incredibly early days yet, and I know I might be cursing it, but so far, this kind of has the smells of a map number 7, don't it? We'll see if Shenzhen Strikers are able to stop that from being the case as they start building towards their ults. They really do have to try and slow play here. If I'm Playgroup, I'm trying to flip the script. Charge the nano, throw it in, let Bipolar Bear go kill.
Yeah, Spectrum has now created a scenario where we will definitely be finishing with a minute and a half on the clock on this attack here. But either way, like you said, it's still going. It's still very much in their favor right now. Cheerio is going to get the Primal Rage on time just in the nick of time, especially Polar Bear is in a similar scenario, but unfortunately does not pull the trigger in that situation. And Spectrum, it's a debate whether or not that's the right call, but I think that's the right call there. I think the fight might have been dusted either way.
I'm very curious why they didn't nano earlier, though. Obviously, Bipolar Bear goes for the soft jump onto the high grounds, but you can just nano and keep pushing. This way, you've given them time to charge up to their own ultimates, notably the Primal Rage. Nano Blade now online for Shenzhen Strikers, and we've seen how much success Nanek has been finding with these blades time and time again.
Yeah, it's just one of those scenarios right now. I'm going to see the Nano going to be invested. Yo-Ho in a rough scenario right now, but Manic is going to go in right now. He's going to try to find the usual blades they've been fighting throughout the entirety of the series, and they haven't come to a stop on Route 66 right now. It's found a 2K right now. Manic, though, is going to eventually burn away. 3v3's online, but Bipolar Bear has done their job. They've done what they needed to, and now it's about cleaning up Yo-Ho and being able to get back to this point. And in fact, they're going to pick up what I think will be a 4K in total for them here, so I mean, that fight almost completely fell apart. That is one heck of a clutch right there to stay alive for the rest of play.
Yeah. Now a lot of pressure onto Gangnam, though, with this Pulse Bomb. I mean, small alter advantage towards Shenzhen Strikers. A Pulse Bomb, though, could flip that on its head. See what the Tracer can find with one of the most swingy, mechanically demanding ultimates in the game.
Yeah, gonna see right now as we are not quite in final fight territory, but depending on how far it lasts, we could end up getting there with 45 seconds on the clock. And two, having a rally around the corner is going to have a sizable defense, but unfortunately for Coda, and eventually I imagine Jigs might not be too far behind here. It's a rough scenario as the Bob has to be invested. It's gonna help create a little bit of stall, make things a little bit easier as the Pulse Bomb is online right now as Manic is trying to find something for this team. Gets super low, gets taken out by Burgerworth, who's going to get the second pick for this game right now as the Bob's going to be invested on the other side by Yo-Ho-Ho. And now it might just be down to the investment right now, right here, of getting them a Bipolar Bear right now, who are barely staying alive. Try to see if they can get some health packs or stay alive as the recall isn't going to get them back any help. So right now, Coda needs to work on trying to help them out, keep them alive. You have that pulse bomb still ready to go, but unfortunately, it's all about trying to make it back to the point quickly. And as good as of a hold as this has been, it is not going to be a full one.
No, I'm very curious why we're going second here. It's a very reactive play in a scenario where you really do want to see people try and go first, go on the offense. I mean, I spent the pre-fight of the previous breaking down why I thought Gangnam should go for a pulse, but he's still holding on to that thing. Both are going down as well. Not what you really love to see. A trade isn't going to be possible either by Polar Bear getting staggered. Oh dear, Shenzhen Strikers beginning to open up here on Route 66.
Yeah, this is not quite the scenario you're hoping for your play group. You managed to force that into that overtime on the first point, but now they've essentially pushed you back into your spawn room, so now they gotta find some kind of response here, because that cart is gonna be steadily moving for a long while.
They're gonna figure out how they want to clear this high ground, but Codes is dead first again.
They're gonna invest with the blade too, and now that's gonna be 3 whole picks, and now you gotta reset, make it 4, because why not has been performing amazingly throughout the entirety of this day, and now they need the reset because a retouch is very, very possible, but now with picks, oh my goodness.
Yeah, the staggers have been absolutely brutal, right? They're so consistent. Costa has been going down first multiple times, and you know, somebody we spoke about all the way back at the beginning of the show is somebody who has to be that consistent factor. They've got their nano boost. Maybe they can fight with that.
Yeah, it's a possibility right now, but unfortunately they're going to be deleted almost immediately once again. And what was an amazing time bank going into the second point for them, 2.5 minutes. They're going to be finishing with a minute on the clock, and they're basically going to go back to that 2.5 minute mark. And now, before, it was a debate whether or not they would be able to even finish the first point, and now it's a debate if they can finish this map with time.
Time is going to be tricky, right? They've got 4 check marks to go through, and last point is notoriously difficult to attack. These long defender sight lines, especially with an Ashe on your team, are incredibly hard to break. That being said, though, they got snowballed all the way through second. A lot of individual mistakes being made from plate group. Now we'll see if they can rectify them as they begin setting up for another dive.
Yeah, gonna have to see right now, Yo-Ho will be taken out. That's the first pick that you've really seen from the side of Playgroup in quite some time right now, but it eventually will be a trade out and eventually fall out of their favor in a 3v3 right now. As right side is that cart hasn't really been making any progress since it got out of the opening gates right now. But either way, Kage gonna be able to try to get out of there, and now the reset will be coming through as Bipolar Bear is eventually gonna have to give up on this point.
Yeah, Primal will hopefully just find these exit frags. If you don't, it's an overinvestment. If you get a kill here, I don't mind it. Choosing to back, can they at least take care of this monkey? No, they don't. And so big tool down the drain, essentially, for Plate Group. Not what they love to see, but at least with this time bank now, discarded, it's getting better for them.
Yeah, gonna have to see if that's the case. Again, another big trade out to get things going is we're gonna see that Blade online for Manic right now, who's going to not only gonna be able to get that ult online here, but also gets the Mega and is able to stay alive even longer, as barely getting out alive as Burger with it. Now, if Gangnam can't get out of here alive, the touch is realistically might have to be the Bob of all things.
That's not so bad, though, if you're Plate Group. The issue is that we maybe want to see the backline maybe even make some swaps at this point. They are consistently, finding struggles. Bob invested first. We'll see what the Shenzhen response is going to be.
The response is immediately going to be almost giving up on the scenario right now. They all back out. Bergenworth finds 2. So, right choice here. They clean up. Bergenworth gets 4 to clear things out, by the way. Fantastic. But now, you use that ult, and now you have nothing to stop Shenzhen Strikers from just going all in with these 3 ults.
Yeah, 30 seconds left to go, of course. If this is a finish, it should be essentially in OT. So the time bank has been whittled down enough. The only way to win this fight, though, has to be mechanics. A pulse bomb from Gangnam, again, could be huge.
Yeah, right now it's kind of just hanging around, waiting for opportunity to use the pulse bomb. Unfortunately, the entire team is falling apart before their eyes. Kagi has a 2K of their own. 5 Polar Bear is there on the scene. Will not get the ult on time. Gangnam is going to go down, and now Kona going over to the Curio. Jinx maybe have to go over to the Lucio. Is going to see if they can get back in time, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to quite be enough. They get there with a 1/10 of a meter left. Unfortunately, it's going to result in no gain in that scenario, so the map will be finished. And that's going to be heartbreaking to some degree, because we were talking about potentially the full hold about 5 minutes ago, and instead, we're here with a completed point for Shenzhen Strikers.
That it is, and, I think there's third defense was acceptable. Their first defense, of course, was stellar. Their second defense, there's no conversation to be had about it, right? They're not able to actually play on that area of the map whatsoever. Unfortunately, trying to force the choke time and time again was not a great decision, right? They get, bladed once and then just spammed out otherwise. There is never, unfortunately, any call to maybe rotate down to the main doors to walk through in a little bit of a safer manner, right? They just get absolutely blended. And so now, rather than even playing against Shenzhen Strikers, Plate Group have to play against themselves. They have to play against their own mental. Because having, hope kind of dangled in front of your eyes and, have it ripped away from you, that could be brutal. And Yo-Yo Chariot, in more of a toxic way than me, but, still brings it up again. Kota's been dying quite a lot, I've got to say. Just been dying on cooldown, it feels like multiple first deaths on that Brigitte. And from your main support, you want to see somebody staying alive. You want to see them surviving. If we can clean up some of those mistakes from the backline, from the Plate Group, it'd already be in a much better place to get the ball rolling. Biggenworth, a Widowmaker. As I mentioned, I do like this on the attack. But we've got to see those headshots actually being found.
Yeah, gonna have to see right now is a good little couple of shots to get things going right now, but Bergerworth needs to find the value here. They need to find some kind of pick right now. Didn't see a whole lot of success earlier when we saw this from Yo-Ho-Ho, so Bergerworth hoping to supply their own. Not the best jump in the world, still managed to find the body shot, but special round, it's gonna be all about the headshots here, as that trade out, to be honest, you don't hate that trade out, but again, Kota goes down first.
I mean, you're attacking, so you're happy with closer spawns, but yeah, exactly what you mentioned. That's bold coming through from Best Jinx, but they trade for it. They can keep going here.
Yeah, that's a really good trade right there. Cheerio has gotten rid of 2, as right now, Yo-Ho is going to be saying bye-bye-bye, unfortunately. But trade out, again, it's going to come back through, but that cart, thankfully, has been steadily moving along, but unfortunately, the resources to win this 2v2 aren't extensive, but unfortunately, Yo-Yo Cheerio is just trying to run for their lives at this point.
Yes, having a Kota alive is so impactful here. We see what value the Brigitte can bring, especially in low numbers scenarios. The supports being here means that Yo-Yo Chariot will likely survive, but already this is good push coming through from Plate Group.
Yeah, unfortunately going to lose Bergenworth earlier on right now. Not be able to find either supports, as right now Manic is going to be able to still find approximate value here, as this fight will come to an end. Plate Group, but ult's coming around the corner, but I mean, Shenzhen Strikers are even themselves like...
Guys, we need to go down fast. We need to reset. We can't stagger.
That's an idea. A good idea at that.
Okay, so they go some light staggers. It is what it is. Bit of a mistake from the Plate Group. And, when you are, eking out what you can for time here, you'll take it. right? They'll have Nano. That's going to be traded out back. Shenzhen Strikers are going to go for a Nano Blade play. This is what they've made to go consistently. But Kota, what a huge pick.
Yeah, now that card's moving along. The nail's going to be invested, and now this is where it all is going to fall apart. This is a significantly better attack on first point than we had seen from Shenzhen Strikers right there. And all it took was that Nano coming through, and now they're going to have 3 or 4 ultimates going into the next fight. Shenzhen Strikers, though, doesn't invest either, so they're going to have all 5 coming up here.
And if I was pinching pennies, I'd say even the Nano was an over-investment, down 5v4, but, you know, you'll take it. Remember, now with this is forward positioning for Play Group on the high ground, we want to see Bergenworth take the top of this spot because it was where they got absolutely wrecked from on their own defense.
Yeah, that's really what happened before, and you're kind of hoping the scenario for them that it's not going to happen again. But with this Nano online, they're sending it onto the Monkey, and the Blade is going to be used as well. They're going to try a whole different approach here. Manic is still going to help find 2 at the end of the day, but the advantage is still very steadily in their favor because the spawns, again, are way closer.
So, I mean, for Play Group there, I mean, assuming that there's no extra exit frags from Yo-Yo Chario, they've gone 3 for 1 and won the fight out. Gangnam goes down. That's awkward. Yo-Yo Chario has put on a masterclass on the Winston, finding 2 exit frags, and while the car's going to keep moving forward, well, there's going to be backliners back in the fight in just a second. This is a lot more fatalities than the Play Group were expecting.
Yeah, it really is in this situation. So now you're hoping for that response once again here from Play Group, who had the opportunity to forward to. Gangnam is going to have a bomb here soon, but likely might not have to use it here right now. Again, the trade out coming through right now. But you trade out your tank for the DPS, and that's not a trade 9 times out of 10. I'm not willing to take that trade. You want your tank there because that's what the main way you're gonna operate those dives. And unfortunately, especially around, they're just not finding the value out of much here right now.
No, the Bob as well was put in a creative position. It was used to help get the follow-up onto the Ashe, and, you know, you got that kill, but you want Bob to meet more of a consistent Thorn. Again, we're fighting. We're kind of down numbers. Bipolar Bear's got to back and back now.
Yeah, they kind of have to right now. 2.5 minutes is still a lot of time to work with, but we saw it earlier. That time can go by down very, very quickly here as the dive's going to come through right now. Coach Gun going to knock them away. Bipolar Bear doesn't have the second life within that Primal Rage right now, so Yo-Ho-Ho is waiting for an opportunity. The Bob's going to be thrown into the backline. Going to be at a very awkward angle for this squad as well, as they are going to go in. The Nano could be online. Yo-Yo Cheerio 90% right now to this Primal Rage. Important they get it online, but you might not even need it right now. As again, gonna fall apart, and for Shenzhen Strikers right now, committing to another excellent defense. Just need to make sure Yo-Yo Cheerio doesn't die here, and they're using the Primal Rage just to make sure of that.
I'm not sure about this Primal, but it should work things out. This is a crazy Primal, actually. They're taking Jinx across the map, but won't be able to find the final blow. Perfect packs coming through from Playgroup. Now they can fight once again.
Yeah, gonna be in a nice angle over here. Gonna see if they're willing to invest on the dive on the Sengle without the shield. Really, you gotta back off there and take your time once again, but Bergenworth is gonna go down and help part with that scenario. And now another fight down the drain, and now with the fact that we are within 1 fight territory, this fight is gonna go down. It is starting to get very scary now for this Playgroup squad.
It's doable. They've got 2 fights if they take them quickly. They have not ult advantage, but they're at a spot where they're willing to fight for it. Again, Gangnam on the pulse needs to find a pick. We've been quiet so far, and into a comp like this, it's actually pretty free to pulse. Basically, any target is value. Ashe backliners are pretty easy to hit as well. Playgroup have been putting themselves in pretty good spots, but in that last fight, a sleep onto Bergenworth allows the Ashe to go down. This time, will Shenzhen Strikers have another miracle play, or will they just trust in Manic to again go huge?
We're going to see right now is Bipolar Bear trying to find something on this group right now. Eventually, it's going to pay some dividends with Tube going down, Akagi not far behind. And this is the fight you needed right now if you are Playgroup right now. Now, you can't really invest anything. The Blade's not going to find any approximate value, so I imagine Shenzhen Strikers are going to give up on this point.
Yeah, there's no way they can even begin to think about touching here. Pulse goes through, Yo-Yo Chario is down. That's going to be it. That pick onto the Winston is not too bad at all, because it means that there's no real way Shenzhen Strikers can go for a corner fight here. Playgroup are going to be wider on the sideline. They've got both backline ults. They've got a Bob. There's very little chance of them finishing with time, let me be clear. But there is still a very decent chance of them finishing the map overall.
Yeah, it's not about having to do it with time, but oh my goodness, and they invested in Nano too, so now you need to find picks. You've invested, and they get the double drop on that one, and that's going to get them all the space in the world. Yo-Yo Cheerio is going to eventually go down here as well, and now Manic is going to force back into the spawn, and now with that card moving along, you're looking at maybe one more fight to be able to secure this.
Yeah, I would say you would put another person on cart here. I know your backline positioning is nice, but you need the distance right now.
Yeah.
Blade thrown in early.
Oh, yeah, and the Bob unfortunately gets invested too, so that goes down the drain in its own way as Bipolar Bear gonna try to bring back their team here. Unfortunately, the fight is very much already over, and now you're looking at 2 more fights potentially standing between.
You need to die.
Yeah, they'll get out.
Oh, he gets out, thank God. I got a little bit worried there. I think that was a big mistake in terms of the fight plan. Realistically, you knew the Nanoblade was coming. You know that you just lose Nanoblade fights. We really can't be investing fights, or ults in, sorry. You can at least bank on your Primal versus your opponents, but Shenzhen Strikers, again, significant ult advantage coming into this final fight.
Yep, Jinx and Coda trying to work together right now. They've been struggling all day on trying on that survivability. Coda in a rough spot right now, but the investment is being given right now, trying to hit that Primal Rage. It is in a very bad area right now. If your name is Bergenworth, 20 seconds left on the clock, Spectrion, it could all be falling apart from here right now as they're in the corner, honestly just trying to survive for as long as they can.
It's not so bad. Gangnam finds a trade.
Oh, no.
Rally. Oh, goes down. Things going from bad to worse here for the Shenzhen Strikers. 10 seconds left to go. Can they find a kill? Can they find any measure of success, or does their playoffs run end here?
And Bipolar Bear needs to try to live right now as the Bob is not going to come out. Did it not? I don't think it came out in that scenario. And now Bipolar Bear goes down, which is a significant drop right there. As Manic, you're literally in the last finals fight right now. He need to dial back in there right now. As we're going to see eventually, Toot is going to go down right now. We're going to see the investment going further right now as Coda and Best Jinx coming back in. We're going to see the Mao going to be invested. Coda is over on that brig, eventually gets taken down, and now Spectron. It's a rough situation because while you're getting bodies back, Shenzhen Strikers is coming up closer to a blade, and that blade could be the death toll as they nearly get off the cart, but will step back on at the same time. Spectron, it's just one of those situations. It's going to come down to this very final fight to decide if this series goes further or not. And right now, it could genuinely go either way as they force the touch. And right now, Manic has to come out, try to get this blade right now. You're trying to live as long as you possibly can if you're anybody else, and it might come down to the hero play here. Bergerworth has gotten rid of 2, has gotten rid of 3, is cleaning things around, and Manic is not going to get the blade, and the series will continue forth.
Oh, that was so close. I can't think of a phrase to describe just how stressed you've got to be, but I'll make do with squeaky bloody bum time. Oh, I mean, what a clutch up, right? They lose their Ashe, I believe, 17 seconds left to go. That isn't enough time to get back on the cart, and the pressure being continued to be leveled up and up by the Shenzhen Strikers. Surely would not Plate Group enough of their game to lose that game out. But instead, they're able to stay alive, keep touching the objective, eking out that overtime. And again, when Kota went down, I thought that was it. I thought the Brig had full sold the game. But Bipolar Bear coming back on that clutch Malga pick was enough to dispatch the Strikers. And that means that we now go OT extra innings, 1 minute apiece. This game is coming down to the absolute wire, but you have to remember that after this, if Plate Group should be able to find their victory, they have to play another map after this. Shenzhen Strikers look to close out their season in the next 3 minutes. Plate Group look to extend it here.
Yeah, it's going to be really important right now for Plate Group right now. At the very least, you need to stop them from capping that first point. Anything beyond that, it is going to become a massive problem for them to be able to do so. Because again, they are essentially creating their own finish line on this defense right now. If you're able to hold them around this very first corner, if you get away with a really good hold, that would be fantastic. That is exactly what you would hope for right now. But for Shenzhen Strikers, they want to get this thing as far as humanly possible. So either way, Spectron, it's going to come down to how both teams want to fight, and Bergenworth,
Huge.
I mean, off to a fantastic start with picks like that.
And you get the trade as well onto that Winston. Perfect start from Plate Group. Bergenworth, again coming out clutch, has been the hero of that Plate Group when they've needed a star, when they've needed somebody to step up. The hit scan has done it time and time again. 24 seconds left to go. This is going to be the last fight. Ults are absolutely not on the cards here. So it's, again, down to the mechanics.
Yeah, I'm going to see. It's going to be coming down to a lot of these poops as well. This might be a big investment for Bipolar Bear, who's in a rough scenario, using the bubble to be able to survive right now. As they're going to double down with this investment. You're going to see right now Yo-Yo Cheerio going in, but Toot is eventually going to go down, and now it's falling apart. The touches are coming through, so overtime will end up being activated, but right now, if you can hit here a sick nade right now with your play group, you can end this thing right here now, give yourself the best position, but unfortunately, it all falls apart from there, and it's so unfortunate. You managed to get one. Bipolar Bear needs to find a second, though. They managed to find another. That Mega Health Pack is literally right there, and they're going to take it away, and now Yoichiro just has the health right now of a Lucio. Manic is low, going to get the Mega Health Pack. This was so much in the favor of Bipolar, and unfortunately, it's looking like it might fall apart.
They can still keep fighting though. The Nanomoose is online. Bipolar Bear can clutch this out.
But they don't get away with the jump right now, and now they gotta go back in and hope they find something, because there's bodies that are low. They're gonna see if you can separate the Lucio right now. Super low, but the Kiriko Cleanse is gonna be there, and Bipolar Bear has to commit with this right now. He needs to find at least one right now. It's gonna get rid of two right now. Not gonna be anywhere near that sound barrier, but Manic is still on the seat right now. It's coming up closer and closer to that blade. Needs to find at least one more. Yo-ho-ho is marked away, gonna get taken out, but unfortunately, Bipolar Bear is doing everything they can. The rest of the team has been falling at the seams, and Shenzhen Strikers will not be stopped from, at the very least, taking this thing to the first points.
Oh, I mean, you're going to be heartbroken if you're Bipolar Bear. You did everything and more there. It was like 5 kills on that Winston, you know, using relatively low resources, honestly. But unfortunately, the rest of the play group were dead, silent. First point being taken with a minute on the board. This is already great progress for the Strikers. And play group might be seeing their playoff run disappear. They only need the one fight win, but in terms of tools to make it happen, they've got absolutely nothing. The same choke that had them snowballed through second this time is undefended.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to see right now is with those picks. The season move even further and further. Bipolar Bear does find one pick. They're eventually gonna find a second within Ikagi, but they don't have the backup. The post bomb comes out. It's gonna find 2, and that's gonna knock him off the cart.
Oh! Gank him! The first pulse bomb kill I think I've seen from him all series. Finds humongous value. Talk about an impact frag. Obliterates the payload. No chance for a touch. And even though they're 20 meters through the second point, play group now have an achievable goal. Gonna have to do it in the same manner as their opponents, with blood, sweat, and tears, but it's something that they can do. But like I said before, like I want to remind the viewers again, if Play Group win this, they have to play another map. They have to go again. And this series, the gift that keeps on giving, may well just keep giving some more. Shenzhen Strikers, they don't want to make it so. They're back on their standard. Manic has been a smidge quieter on this Genji, but has just played absolutely lights out all night long. An extra minute of that could mean their victory, could mean their championship. But we've got to wait and see, because Bipolar Bear has come alive, has become electric in the latter stages of this game. And a performance like that, I mean, it wouldn't be good manners to deny a player like that the championship.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you in that situation. And now it's all about the response, because they just need to get this ball rolling right now, because again, you're going to need what's realistically going to be probably 2.5 to 3 fights. I think realistically, if you're going to take this one away. So you need to give yourself a great start. And I think really importantly, the thing that has really harped them throughout a lot of the series, you need to keep that support line alive, because that nano, that rally, is going to be so important for a final fight. It is brilliant, but they need to find the finish right now. They will be able to. And now Bipolar Bear needs to get out alive, will be able to do so. So that's an excellent start. That is exactly what you're hoping for.
Perfect start. You need to turn the pressure up now. You need to make sure they don't have enough time for the refight, which is why Bipolar Bear is again going. Background rotating makes it awkward, but they've already got the start they needed. Yep,
and now you're debating if they go for the jump, they will, but they don't have anything to really support them in this series. But either way, Kagi is going to get separated. Bipolar Bear is going to jump out of there, needs to be able to find that, as Gangnam going to be able to get out alive, and that cart's going to move along, and now that realistically is going to be first point. So, Spectron, it is all on the back of this final fight.
That it is. Shenzhen Strikers will mostly be there. Manic will be a smidgen late, but the payload starch here is going to make it awkward. All down to one fight. The stakes are up to 11 here on Route 66.
And keep in mind as well, Playgroup spawn is insanely closer, by the way. This is in a really unadvantageous position for Shenzhen Strikers. They need to find something, and they'll need to find it in rather quick fashion, because no ultimate's really going to save you the situation unless Akagi is able to get up to this nano. But eventually, someone is going to have to go onto this cart right now, as pressure is going to be delivered right now. Gangnam going to be forced to kind of recall in this scenario right now, as less than 5 meters separate. But we're going to see a couple picks come through already. Unfortunately, it's the two worst people that could have dropped in now. It could be all falling apart without even a single thing right now. And now it's on the tracer to touch right now. Going to go in. Going to be able to touch once more. And that is going to fall apart. And unfortunately, What should have been their day ends in a whimper. They fall apart at the seams at the last possible moment, and Shenzhen Strikers are going to be your Season 14 champions of the EU Masters Division.
A single fight away from going to a map number 7. Playgroup played their absolute hearts out there, but unfortunately just a little bit too much to bear. I mean, it could have been over for them so many times in this series, right? I mean, you remember them, for example, going down 0-2 on Suravasa earlier on. Obviously, we remember them getting absolutely steamrolled through second point here on Hollywood, but they're able to just keep fighting, just holding on white-knuckled. But unfortunately, at the very end, they let go. That's got to be absolutely heartbreaking for them, right? I mean, their trace is scaled. There's a chance for a dive, but it doesn't look like they hit their dynamite. They don't hit their nade. And over-investing a little bit means that they just get punished going into those defender sightlines. What an absolute game, though. What an absolute matchup we were treated to here. Because, Hunter, I don't know about you, but heading into this game, while I definitely didn't expect anything bad, this was an absolute 10 out of 10 banger.
Yeah, no, that's, again, we didn't go in with the biggest of expectation in terms of that. Especially look at the first round, it's like, okay, there seems to be a clear advantage. And if they don't respond right away, it could very well become that, 4-0, 4-1 kind of scenario that we've seen many times before. But it's a very pleasant surprise. We see that fight back. We see that they're very much willing to do things a certain way, very much willing to fight back, change things around as they need to. And it all came down to that final fight, and it ends in a very tragic way. But of course, I mean, props to this plate group team. It's unfortunate I have to go back-to-back with the second places, but honestly, in a sense, this has to be motivation. You come close yet again to making it happen. You realize you have a good team. You have something great working for you right now. Unfortunately, it just doesn't happen. So once again, a big congratulations again, Shenzhen Strikers, who come away with the win. It looks like at the end of the day that that championship at the 1987 Halo Worlds ended up really going into their favor on this one. But I mean, Spectral, we already said it. This has been a banger. It's exactly what we were hoping for out of today, and I don't think we could have asked for very much more.
I really don't think we could have. I think we got everything we really could have. I mean, hopefully you said it perfectly yourself, right? But now on the calm down, I think we can go to a short break. When we're back, I believe, with one of the victors, one of the Shenzhen Strikers will have on the mic for us. So don't go back, because we'll be back in a little bit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We find ourselves on the other side of what was a 6-map banger. It was nearly a 7-map banger. We were only one fight away from that making the case, but instead, Shenzhen Strikers put the final nail into the coffin and will be your EU Masters Champions this season. And of course, gonna have a fun little interview of not just one, but also gonna have a double interview to get things working away here. We got Yo-Yo Cheerio and Ikagi over joining us from Shenzhen Strikers. And first and foremost, congratulations on a massive championship win.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And obviously going into a finals, it is no small feat right there to go into there. You have to go in with a very certain mentality sometimes. So I kind of want, what was your just general thoughts going into this game today?
Play dive, play some more dive, and hopefully it was gonna go well for us. They tried to throw us off a couple of times with the Maga, but didn't work out and did it.
Yeah, I think for me, I want to first ask. Obviously, you guys were playing the Genji rather than the Tracer the entire time. Is that just because of Manik's hero pool, or was that like a strat or a read, or just something to do with that?
No, it's just Manic. It's he's special.
Yeah. Okay.
His hero pool is very limited. He's a pick eater.
I've had experience with that before in the past, definitely. But then I also want to ask, what was the decision behind some of their map picks, do you think? Obviously, there were some times where they were going on to more dive-based maps. It seemed my read in the first map or so was that they were going to try and force a Suravato-style map so they can play ground stuff. But that didn't really end up going out, so I guess I'll narrow the scope of this question to this. What did you guys think when they picked Hollywood?
Hollywood, we never played Hollywood.
Oh, Route 66, sorry, I'm zoned out.
No, we were happy because we know they've wanted to be they've been a dive team predominantly, but earlier on in the playoffs we played them and we just had a full dive mirror the whole game and we beat them 3-0. But then this time they were turning it around and playing a lot better. So we knew they had a good chance on dive, but we're happy. That's what we want to play really. That's real Overwatch. I mean they won what was it, Dorado. So they still had a good chance.
Yeah, hey, definitely seems to be the case, but obviously y'all come out the other side, you're champions, 4-2 fashion. I mean, obviously you guys want to take time to be able to celebrate, kind of take this win, but I mean, are there plans for Shenzhen Strikers to kind of continue in their own way? Maybe not just CGL, but is there plans to continue playing together as teammates?
Yeah, most likely. Most of us were just friends before before CGL just decided to hop in together. Sadly, some of them are gone. We've had a lot of visa issues this whole season. Three of us at different occasions have had to flee the country and not been able to play. But yeah, maybe you'll see us again next season. I don't know if it'll be the exact same roster, but you'll probably see us.
Okay, well, there you have it right there. And obviously we want to let y'all be able to go and celebrate, but we're kind of going to give you an opportunity. If there's anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to personally say, we're going to open up the floor for you to be able to do so. So you are free to take it away.
Iki, you have any you want to do? Because I have quite a few.
Yeah, no, I need to shout out my Genji. He might have a picky roster and a bad temper, but he kind of carried. His blades were absolutely amazing today.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to Tachyon, our Tracer player who sadly couldn't make it today. He's been shipped off to Brazil. Shout out to Daido Juku, shipped off to India, couldn't play these playoffs either. I want to give a shout out to Gushui. I got the jersey on right now. That's what carried me through this. Shout out to the whole Hongzhou Spark. Shout out to Profit and Gesture 2017 Apex Season 4 dive. Bring it back.
You're so real for
Holy
that.
moly.
Exactly. Shout out to GOAT Profit, greatest player of all time. Don't nobody tell me anything else. If you got anything to say, come say it to my face. Yeah, I think that's it. Shout out my mom and dad too.
There we go. Hey, we love to
Shout out all the team. Shout out everyone.
Shout out every single person. Everyone's Veteran. That means us too. We got shout out too. Can you
Yes, shout out the casters.
Oh my
shout
God, I
out
can't believe it.
shout out the two casters, the In the Fletch and Megalast that casted most of our games before. They got them too.
I can get behind that. They were definitely farming the EU matches, especially early on in the season. But,
yeah, especially I became a Mulder. I'm
voicing a Mulder.
Oh, but either way, again, congratulations on a big win. We want to let y'all go to the opportunity to go celebrate. So, again, big win today. Happy to see it. Go celebrate, and best of luck with whatever comes in the future.
Thank you very much. Also, shout out Mao Zedong. Forgot about that one. Great leader.
Love to hear it. All right, you all take care now.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you for today.
Heck yeah. All right, Spectron. Love to have the classic EU interview. It's always different. That's the word I'll throw out there.
We're here to keep you on your toes, man. But no, obviously in a high spirits after finding that win. A lot of shout-outs going through there, but at the end of the day, that is going to be it. Shenzhen Strikers beat Plate Group 4-2 in our Masters Grand Final. Of course, this isn't going to be the only game for the day. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to have our NA game as well. There's going to be Oops, All Vibes taking on Golden Hour at 7:30 Eastern Time. That's going to be all the matches we have today. And as we get closer and closer to the end overall of CGL Season 14, Hunter, is there anything you want to say so far about it?
I mean, realistically, with all that we have, I mean, let's make thing one very clear. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not in some faraway galaxy, I believe this was the first final, if I'm not quite mistaken.
I
if
think
not,
you're right, yeah.
Which means we have, I believe, another 7 that are still to come. Obviously, we still have a couple of other playoff matches that still have to dictate some of the other finals, but I mean, there's going to be action throughout the rest of this week, and obviously, given Team Seed's schedule, make things work, I believe at least a match or two happening next week. But we will get there when we get there. I'll have a great opportunity to come into tonight and watch another fantastic game to be able to decide even more predicaments going to those finals. But either way, Petron, it's been a lovely day. I wish we could sit here and do this over and over and over again. And bright side is we might get the same opportunity later on. But either way, it's been a good day here at CGL and Spectron. I'm one hell of a rambling machine, I'll say. But either way, we're going to bring this to a close. Thank you all for tuning in today. Please join us later tonight and for the rest of the week for CGL, because there are a lot of amazing matches yet to come. But for the time being, we hope you have yourselves an excellent night.